Wait a second. Who brought the rooster? Hey, whatever you need to get the job done, Danny.
Next time I see you, I want to play with that crazy backpack, deal?
Volver, Juan.
So do I.
Boom.
Punch!
Welcome back to Shred-A-Geddon. Here's a new trick. Let's go. Okay, this is good. This is good. This is really good. Holy spluttering whip!
Позабудь об этом дне, спор не нужен никому. Не читай нотации мне, мама, это ни к чему. Снова друзьям я своим убегаю, что меня тянет туда, я не знаю. Без музыки мне оставаться надолго нельзя. Музыка нас связала, тайною наших знала. Всем уговором держу я в ответ. Нас не разлучат, нет.
the first year of Grounded. Millions of players kept busy with crafting, fighting, the pond, ziplining, flying things. Now, to celebrate, we present the Shroom and Doom update. It gives the people what they've been asking for. Like sitting. No, seriously, a lot of people want to sit. Pets for when you get sick of your human companions. And of course, mushrooms. But not those kinds. We've also got something that literally no one was asking for. The Brood Mother. She's so terrifying. You should probably turn on arachnophobia mode. Oh, even her blob scares the shit out of us. Go big. Or never go home. Oh, and it looks like we added achievements too. Nice.
You have shown an aptitude for applying lethal solutions to conflicted situations. We wish to test your abilities.
History is all around us. Those who made it have never been forgotten. Their daring choices echo across time, turning land into kingdoms and mortals into legends. history was in your hands, what would you build? How would you fight? Where would you go? What will you be remembered for?
We begin by hearing an old, wise-sounding voice. And we see a quiet, peaceful setting. This will make our game seem big and important. Now, something must break the serenity. Will this creature be in the game? No. Say goodbye to it forever. Suddenly, and for no reason, people running. These pointless slow-motion shots make everything seem cool and should bolster pre-sale numbers. That wah sound can mean only one thing. We must gaze over an epic shot of a world, and there should be lens flares. Now we see our hero, but only their silhouette, because the developers haven't finished the design, or finished the story, or finished any gameplay that's actually ready to show. In fact, the only thing they have finished is the title.
get it.
Hello, I'm Mike Brown, Creative Director at Playground Games, and I can't wait to show you what we've been working on. Horizon is known for fun, freedom, and beauty. This year, the Horizon Festival arrives in beautiful, diverse Mexico. This is the largest and most diverse open world ever in a Forza Horizon game. And there is no better car to explore it than the stunning AMG Project One Forza Edition. Rendered in unparalleled detail and with ray tracing in Forza Vista, thanks to the power of the Xbox Series consoles. I've invited along some of the team to help give you a taste of some of the amazing content that's waiting for you in Forza Horizon 5. Please welcome Bill, Maddie, Sierra, and Don from the Forza team.
Hey, Mike.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hey, everyone.
Hey, what's up, Mike?
And we also have Abraham with us as well. He's one of the talented actors who will be appearing in the game.
Bienvenidos a Mexico. I can't wait to show you what we've been working on.
We begin in the rainforest on an expedition. This is a new campaign mode in which you set out on an adventurous journey across Mexico to explore new locations and discover places for the festival to expand.
I'm on the river now. We're getting close.
There you are. How's the expedition going?
I'm racing a car through the Mexican jungle, Rami. Doesn't get much better than this. I can see some ruins up ahead.
Bienvenida Alps, Mal. Look out for the flamingos! This city is still a jewel of Mayan architecture.
That's a peek at our adventurous campaign. But Forza Horizon has always been a game that's best enjoyed with others. Let's go and see what some of our other players are up to. The Xbox Series consoles allow us to capture every last detail, right down to the individual needles on these cholla cactus. The scene looks real, but there are no tricks. This is in-game. Maddie is behind the wheel of the AMG Project One Forza Edition in Mexico's lush, living desert. The perfect place to meet up with friends and head out for a drive. Thanks to the next generation of our Horizon Live servers, everyone else we see here are real players. And it looks like has been joined by some other members of the Forza team. Let's leave Maddie for a moment and head out to the coast and meet Don. Don is already on the move, exploring this idyllic seaside town. This is a recreation of Mexico that is honest, authentic, and filled with love. Speaking of, hold up, Don.
Oh, hey, what's up?
This is a mural by Mexican artist Farid Rueda. Just one of the many beautiful, faithful pieces of Mexico you'll find all over Forza Horizon 5. While Don drives down to the beach, we'll jump over to the Gran Caldera volcano. Check out this geology detail, implemented with precision accuracy using photogrammetry data captured on location atop an active Mexican volcano. The entire world has been recreated at this level of detail. And here's Sierra in her favorite off-road buggy. The volcano Sierra and friends are exploring is the highest point ever in a Horizon game. And thanks to the power of the Xbox Series consoles, from up here we can see for miles in every direction. In the distance, we can just about make out Guanajuato. Let's take a closer look. Guanajuato is one of the most beautiful cities anywhere in the world. It's a colorful, undulating city full of vibrant architecture. It even has a sprawling network of tunnels. And these twisting, turning, overlapping streets mean that as well as looking good, it plays great too. As we see here, as Don is challenged in Horizon's open world battle royale, The Eliminator. While Don tries to win that race, the rest of our players are still out exploring this diverse open world. Let's head north to the canyon. The Horizon series is known for its uplifting beauty, and using our unique HDR camera rig, we captured 24-hour shoots of real Mexican skies at 12K resolution. And thanks to the Xbox Series consoles, these photorealistic skies result in lifelike lighting that dynamically changes every frame, making you feel like you're really there. Here's Maddie again. She's joined by Abraham and some other members of the team. Our players are using Forza Link, the new AI assistant that intelligently tracks the status of you and the people you meet online, and then helps you link up and play together. We'll now head deep into the rainforest and rejoin Bill and the rest of our players. Here we see our new volumetric lighting system filling the scene with God rays as the sunlight dapples through the dense rainforest. A Horizon arcade minigame is about to start. Forza Link knows that Bill loves minigames, so it intelligently prompts Sierra to invite Bill. Bill accepts, and they're seamlessly linked together with their GPS route set. With that Horizon arcade minigame starting soon, all of our players are coming together. This minigame is called Piñata Pop, signaled by the Horizon cargo plane dropping a payload of piñatas.
Ooh, over this way.
Gotta catch up to you guys.
Our players now have to work together to find and pop as many as they can.
Okay, go up here to the left.
There's loads along the main road.
Here I go.
I'll take a look through the bushes here.
There's some between the houses.
Oh, there's a couple more over here.
Sweet.
While the team grab those last few piñatas, we're going over to the stadium because I have one more thing to show you. This is Event Lab, the incredible new toolset that allows you to create your own races, game modes, and gameplay experiences. You customize everything, right down to the fundamental rules of the game. Forza Horizon 5 is the largest, most fun, and most beautiful open world we've ever built. And it will truly be an astounding showcase for the Xbox Series consoles when it comes to Xbox Game Pass this November 9th. Thank you so much. I'll see you all in Mexico later this year.
Team Xbox is on a mission to bring the joy and community of gaming to everyone on the planet. That's why you, the gamer, are at the center of everything we do. Today, we showed you 30 games. 27 of them will be available on Xbox Game Pass. Now, through the end of the year, you can look forward to back-to-back monthly releases landing day one on Game Pass, led by 5 new titles from Xbox Game Studios, as well as highly anticipated games like Back 4 Blood, 12 Minutes, and The Ascent. And as we look ahead to next year, I'm inspired by the creativity of Bethesda and Xbox Game Studios. We showed you the highly anticipated RPG Starfield coming exclusively to Xbox. But we also have some of the industry's best RPG storytellers working on Avowed, Fable, The Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76, The Outer Worlds 2, and Elder Scrolls 6. We unveiled the stunning multiplayer mode for the world's most beloved shooter in Halo Infinite, adding to the roster of iconic Xbox shooters alongside Wolfenstein, Gears of War, Perfect Dark, and Doom. We premiered the most epic open-world racing game, Forza Horizon 5, bringing you a vibrant and authentic depiction of Mexico in a game built from the ground up for next gen, while the team at Turn 10 is hard at work on the next Forza Motorsport. Our growing family of 23 studios is devoted to advancing the medium we all love. Xbox has been here for 20 years, and that's because of you. Our team strives to make Xbox a place where you'll find the greatest games, the most dedicated developers, and the most passionate community. Together, we all make Xbox the best place to play. Before I go, there's one more thing. Take a look at this brand new original game from the Arcane team at Bethesda, the studio that created Prey and Dishonored. Arcane created something new for them, an open-world immersive shooter that you can play alone or with your friends. And like Starfield, this game will be an Xbox exclusive.
Pobre bribón. I'm gonna have to take you apart again. Hey, Dev, anything interesting?
Aliens exist too. Mandible, 25 centimeters. Dramatically elongated.
Go on, make yourself useful.
So, that was fun, right?
That's your cue, mate.
Sleep tight.
You know what this reminds me of? My time in the Himalayas.
Ready's later, Dad.
You think they can't kill you anytime they want?
Hey, asshole!
How do we always get into this shit?
In the field in Redfall, Massachusetts. Behind me, we are witnessing clear signs of cult activity as the locals engage.
Hey!
Really hope the video was worth it.
Everybody, fall back! People need to know what happened here. Layla, you with me? Get me on the roof now.
Thank you, Layla. You're the best. Oh, Jacob, don't even mention it.
Reverend! Now or never!
Where's the other one? Where'd it go?
Give me a taste. That's bad.
Bloody hell.
Taste this, cabrona!
Watching you.
Ah! Jacob, there's something.
Thump goes the rabbit's arm.
Oh, shit. Dev's gonna love this one. You better have a plan, Jacob.
Yep. Don't miss.
Don't touch me!
Look! A new one!
Primo, venate! Go, go!
Kill me. End me. You can't break the blood trance. It's only just begun.
I think there's vampire in this.
Really? What does it taste like? Be specific.
Like blood and death and strawberry.
Sun's coming up. Let's keep moving.
Let's keep moving.
Sure thing, Edgar Allan Bro.
That's a good one.
Do you think things will ever go back to normal?
Would you want to go back to normal?
Not if I still have to pay my student loans.
If there is wonder, right place in our dreams, we can disappear into our world beyond.
Bring me that horizon.
If we can imagine and know what to do, we can fall into the
Down on one knee, sir.
Okay, yes.
Down on one knee.
Yes.
Spartan.
Yes.
Stand.
Oh, wow.
Woo!
I just got knighted. Okay,
Yes.
I'm all about that.
I was like, if we're gonna talk about Halo, we gotta like bring it, okay?
I'm down. That was amazing.
Plasma sword over
Yeah. Top to bottom, 10 out of 10. Put it in my veins. Do it again. Run it back. I don't know, but that was awesome. I think that's like what that was like the perfect mix of like just a few informative little bits, but what gamers love is just trailer after trailer, hit after hit. I mean, really, there were a lot of great games that they had announced. It's insane.
I love your enthusiasm right now. I don't even know where to start either. We got to see a little bit of the story. There's new AI. I loved her personality. I thought that she was absolutely adorable.
Yeah, for Halo Infinite, it was. I mean, I think like Halo Infinite, we knew that it was going to come, right?
Yeah.
It was a game that was supposed to release last year. It had, I guess a really lukewarm response visually, and then Xbox just hits it out of the park. You know, they did such a great job, and then also showing off multiplayer like that. that looked like big team battle, and I love big team battle.
Oh.
So I'm all about that. And yeah, it was really, really well done.
When we got to multiplayer, you were definitely like head over heels. You were like,
Yes.
I am here for this, all the nostalgia feels. I also thought the environment looked fantastic. Like you were saying, there were a lot of conversations when the gameplay was revealed, but everything that I saw animation-wise, like I was impressed.
By the way, so normally for our E3 polls, we're only able to fit 6 games.
Oh.
But our
There's so much
crew
great stuff.
was like, there's just too many games. So there's 7 games in the poll right now. So get out there and vote. I mean, there's actually a lot of hype centered around, well, you know, what we just saw.
For sure.
Redfall looked really, really cool. Stalker 2 looked incredible. We got a Psychonauts 2 release date. It's just, there's so much to talk about. Where do you want to start? I know we talked about Halo. Where do you want to go from here?
To be honest, Redfall, I'm all about a sexy, violent vampire. When he showed up, I was just like, okay, I'm here for it. And all the villains, I was totally blown away. The flame hair, the wraith-like character, and I like the protagonist as well. The hooded man with like the bird and it just like went off in the distance. So cinematically, I was like, okay, I'm into this story. I want to see more. It was funny because we were hooting and hollering the entire presentation. When Redfall came on in the end, we were all dead silent. And I think just really excited about a new IP.
Yeah, exactly. A new IP from Arcane Studios, makers of Prey, which is another phenomenal game if you haven't played it, which, by the way, on Game Pass, so check that out. I think like there's just so much excitement around this Bethesda Xbox crossover to really get the best of both worlds here. And it also goes to show, too, the not only the investment, but the trust that Xbox has in Bethesda to bring some real fire on that stage. You know, that they put Halo in the middle of the show, and I thought Halo was going to open the show. And they opened and closed with Bethesda games, which goes to show the faith that they have in that team to churn out massive hits for their games.
Yeah, and they said Redfall is probably going to be similar to an epic RPG with what we're going to see with Starfield. Opening with Starfield, that just made me smile.
Beautiful.
And then 25 years in the making, the release date reveal, we all went wild. We're like, 11, 22.
There really is a lot. And you know, I said this to the crew when we were watching, if they just give me, you know, like what we got with Oblivion, what we got with Fallout, right? If you just give me open world space adventure, that's fine. You just wrap me up in a little ball. I'll wait till 2022 and I'll be right in there like swimwear. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, spaceships, robots. I'll be honest, we didn't see a lot, but we were like, that was enough. That was enough.
It was enough
like,
to tide it over.
I'm totally here for it. I also want to talk about Psychonauts.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I mean, we've been waiting so long, since 2005. That makes me feel very old.
Yeah, it's been a while
we're
since
aging
we got that.
ourselves a little bit there. But it's interesting, actually, because Michael was talking to us about how he actually played it. I'm sure he'll elaborate on that later. But we're like, we've been waiting.
Yeah, he saw it at a showcase. He didn't get to play it, but he saw it at a showcase.
He said he got to play?
I don't know, but he'll clarify later.
Okay,
but
he'll clarify. No, he said he
that
got to play a little bit, and so he's like, we've been waiting.
This game looked finished, and we thought it was going to come out in 2019. Then we thought it was going to come out in 2020. Then obviously we, got blipped, and 2020 didn't happen. So now we're going to get it here in 2021, and it's so short. It's so close. August, was it 23rd or something like that? It really, I'm really pumped for that one.
To clarify, I think it was an early build of it, so it probably wasn't like
just felt dumb. It just goes to show like what that team is able to make over there and the quality that they churn out. It is outstanding.
I think what stood out to me was just that they're really focused on making it perfect. You know what I mean? Like they're putting a lot of time and they want it to be quality.
Speaking of perfect, by the way, Forza.
My little.
I mean, we're seeing shots of Psychonauts here, and it looked amazing. But
Yeah.
Forza Horizon 5. Yes. There were moments, people, when we were watching. I know you guys at home felt the same way, okay? Where it looked like a picture. It looked like it existed. It does exist in the real world, but it looked like that it wasn't the video game, and it was the like, how do they, like, Playground manages to pull off magic every single time. I mean, the visuals are wild. And then on top of that, they add these fun game modes. You know, their Battle Royale mode is back. This Pinata mode, which is, I think, a subtle way of saying we're never going to get Viva Pinata again. So there's just a lot of really cool things that they added with Forza Horizon. And that also build your own track creator, like the challenges you could make. Oh, my goodness, Jackie, there's so much to discuss.
So this is my thing with Forza Horizon 5. I am an awful driver in real life, but I feel like I can play racing games decently. And then I can drive around in a jungle or a desert, and if I hit a cactus, it's okay.
Yeah,
you know,
it's okay. It's okay
it
to
ain't
hit
a
a
big deal when you're doing it in a video game.
Drive safe, kids.
Yes, please drive safe. We fully encourage that, but I'm just a really awful driver, so when we see a game like Forza, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can
Never get in a car with Jackie,
I can have fun. That is a fact.
Never get in a
That
car
is
with Jackie.
definitely a fact. I did want to talk about Replaced a little bit. I might have gotten lost in the pack of like all these great games. It had a very classic twist to it. This is one you got really excited for. It was post-apocalyptic, side-scroller with some 3D effects to it.
Visually.
You and I were both like, this looks so fun.
Yeah, it's that HD 2D thing that we're starting to see more. We got a little taste of that with Project Triangle Strategy, which was announced a little while ago. It's a tactical game on the Switch. And we're starting to see more of that happening, and I love that art style. Gorgeous. There were just so many games, and I just want to say real fast, Outer Worlds.
What do you want to say?
Freaking 2.
Yes.
Yes. That was a pleasant surprise. I am actually in my second playthrough of Outer Worlds right now, and I love that game so much. The expansions, amazing.
Look at this animation.
And we were back and forth because we were like,
what is this?
We're like, this isn't Fable because it looks really weird, you know? And then, you know, once you hear the witty dialogue, and we have these earpieces on, so it was kind of hard to hear it. But once we had the witty dialogue and you know, you saw the Moon Man turn around, it was perfect. Spacer's choice, baby. Spacer's choice.
Golden Boy, I had all these titles to get through, but we don't have time to talk about it. So just
we don't have time.
Away.
Throw them all away.
We're going to, I think, hand it over to Greg with our folks over there.
It's not
Greg,
fair. Why is he getting to talk about
You don't get the plasma sword. You don't get the plasma sword.
Well. Thank you, Jackie and Golden Boy, for trying to talk about every Xbox game so we would have nothing to talk about in this panel. But luckily, with more than 30 games being talked about, we still have plenty of ground to cover. So let's go around the room real quick to start off. Dan, we'll go this way on the horseshoe. What was the most hype? What was the game? What can't you stop thinking about right now?
Eiyuden Chronicle, a spiritual successor to Suikoden, one of the greatest JRPGs of all time, over 100 recruitable characters.
Yeah.
I'm very proud to have backed that game on Kickstarter, to see it here in the showcase, just getting so many new eyes on it. It is a phenomenal looking game, and I can't wait to get my hot little hands on it in 2023 and 2022.
I was going to say, how do you feel about there being the 2022 one and then a 2023
that was a surprise to me, so I'm stoked. I can't wait.
Okay. Avi?
I do have to say that you also convinced me a little bit. I'm like, I've never heard of this before, but your enthusiasm, I'm like, okay.
I am here to help spread the good word of Eiyuden Chronicle.
Yes,
it looks incredible.
Exactly.
So pretty. I mean, Redfall. I definitely was not expecting that. I was sitting here going like, that's Fable though, right? That's Fable though, right? That's Fable though, right? We didn't get any of that. We got like a small little mention, but still Redfall, no one knew that was coming.
Sure.
Like Jackie was saying, we got like Big Daddy and Mommy vampires coming out of nowhere, which I clearly have a bias
We know that's your
towards.
thing. We know that's your thing, all right?
I know. But that game looks incredible. All the different weapons that they were showcasing. You had the woman who was like levitating people with the special purple powers that she had going on. We had, what they call him, Edgar Allan Bro with the bird. And then like the UV ray light gun. I'm like, I never thought of dealing with vampires that way before. So that is just incredible to me.
100%, I can see that, and especially for Arcane coming out swinging, right, showing what they can do, what their style is. Obviously, the trailer for it would be interesting to see what we actually get from it when we get gameplay for it. For me, I got my wish, which of course was a 12 minutes release date. 12 minutes coming August 19th. Can't wait. Obviously, a great cast, but a great concept of that Groundhog Day. How can we get out of this one situation in this one room? Michael, what about you?
The Outer Worlds 2, that was a genuine surprise because Obsidian is one of my favorite developers. When they come out with RPGs, they go wild on them. And Outer Worlds was like one of my favorite games of the past couple years.
Sure.
So when you think Obsidian, you're probably thinking about Avowed, which was revealed a little while back.
I'm thinking New Vegas, all right? But
I'm
thinking of Grounded, which I've also played and enjoyed.
No, I'm talking about like what you expect next from that.
Sure.
Yeah, but like Fallout New Vegas. If y'all ain't played Fallout New Vegas, it's on Game Pass. Y'all should check that out. But yeah, that is one of my favorite Western RPGs of all time, Fallout New Vegas. So obviously Outer Worlds was fire. Outer Worlds 2, that was like completely unexpected. So I think that element of surprise is sometimes what we miss during gaming conventions.
Sure.
And that's what they brought with Outer Worlds 2.
Well, especially with what we're talking about coming off the year 2020 was, right?
Yes.
Where so many things got delayed, slipped, there's been so many leaks. Like, yeah, E3 is about those surprises, about this kind of thing. So the fact that they were able to do it and just put it up there, right? Just show you the trailer and be like,
there's no gameplay, It's all good.
And
it's
real
all
quick,
good.
while we're on this trailer, was everybody else's vibe, were you ready for it to turn into Fable at any second? I know it's not traditional Fable, obviously, from the gameplay, but the inherent humor they were doing.
Exactly. It was the narrator and starting off, because I know the Fable trailer that we kind of got last year was like a little fairy going through the forest. And I'm like, that's the forest. That's the forest. We're going in. And then it's like, and then you got here. And
Yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, we weren't sure where we were going to end up with that one. Damon, you had your mention of Perfect Dark.
A mention, yeah.
What about it stands out, though?
What about Perfect Dark?
No, about Xbox E3.
I'd probably, can you guess what I would pick?
I'm sure
it was replaced.
Yeah.
For a Damie game, amazing pixel art, and I love a good 2D cinematic platformer or brawler, whatever it ends up being. But that game definitely caught my eye.
Yeah, great art style, right? And that was another one going through, like, is this last night? What are we talking? Like, where are we at? What game is this? And then have it come out and be something new. That was great. Yeah.
to refresh, that was the one where it was the family with the dog.
No, that was Somerville.
That's
I also like that one.
Somerville, I'm all about. Somerville, I'm all about.
That one's former Playdead developers, so Limbo, Inside.
Yeah, that's
I missed that.
was, like,
Jump ship. Okay.
Excited, but then at the same time, the dog kept disappearing. So
Yeah.
I'm going, can my heart take it if
Well,
the dog disappears? But
When you got like weird purple javelins coming down from Alien, that dog ain't making it in at least one playthrough. I'm sure there's a happy ending, I'm sure. The whole family makes it through, but I don't think you have to worry about that overall. So now the question I think becomes, is this the best E3 press conference we've seen so far? Like,
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
It was an easy question. Yeah, I think Xbox really came out and delivered on this one. Right?
And like Bethesda did too, because you start with Starfield, which we actually saw something from Starfield and a release date and all that. And it's also going to be like a full next-gen game. There's so much to talk about. But then they also bookend it with Redfall. So it's like Bethesda are the highlights of us. So it's like, yes, we have Halo, we have the expected Xbox franchises like Forza, but to start and to end with Bethesda, like, we spent that money. It's about to pay off. You know what I'm saying? So.
Again, we're talking about Jackie and Golden Boy eating up so much oxygen. One of the things I want to talk about, right? They just yak. Let's talk about all the big games. But there are so many things we haven't even touched on, again, with more than 30 titles. Something that stood out for me that I wasn't expecting was the Sea of Thieves crossover with
Right?
I have had multiple friends on me that I need to play Sea of Thieves.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
it was like a real lifeline for me during the pandemic because I was able to connect with my friends in a way that we couldn't do in person because we couldn't hang out, so we could take to the high seas and just wreak endless havoc. It's like a sandbox for chaos. Anything you want to do, you can make it happen there. And to see a massive license like Pirates of the Caribbean come into this, it fits so well narratively and diegetically, but also the gameplay potential there is really exciting too because you really want more quests that are story-driven in that game in between just the random things that happen when you're out and about in the world. So I'm super excited for it. And it's a free content update too.
So talk to me about that. How much content is there in Sea of Thieves right now in terms of storyline stuff? Because if I can interject, one of the things that scared me off was in the beginning it was content light. Okay, and I know they've added stuff to it, but Grounded spoke to me a lot as a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids fan. And I had put in a lot of time, or not a lot of time, but like a few nights into Grounded when that launched, and it was the same thing of like, cool, now every week we're gonna give you a little bit of a reason. I'm like, oh, okay, like there's not enough here. Is Sea of Thieves right now already before this stuff content complete in a way that's like...
I would say yes. I think that there is enough content to satisfy you at this point. It really depends on what you want to do. If you're the kind of person that likes to really grind out reputation and unlock achievements and things like that, you can do that. You can grind it out with all these different sort of daily quests, but there's enough tall tales and other quests you can do where you get that narrative in there. But I'm excited to see how this brings in a very purposeful narrative in a more structured way than what you already have in there, because for so many players, they've already reached the end game. They are pirate legends. This will give them a reason to set sail on the high seas once more.
Of course, yeah. And then I think the presentation and the production value of Disney having all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, yeah. Avi, what else do you want to talk about? What jumps out here for you?
So, I mean, I started screaming about it, and everyone looked at me like I was crazy, but Slime Rancher too. Slime Rancher too. Like, I know that not too many people had picked it up, or they just saw like the cute GIFs and stuff on social media, but it's a game where you go around and collect slimes that are shaped like animals, and then you breed them, and you just kind of get to keep collecting them.
Whoa.
Well, you can make bigger slimes, different slimes, you can combine the slimes, you can feed the slimes. It's a cute game, just appreciate the cuteness.
Oh, yeah.
You
I mean,
sit
it's
down
gorgeous.
and you relax.
It looks
even, right?
adorable. Yeah. So is it like, I think one of the things I saw in the Kind of Funny Games chat over and over again was Viva Pinata. Does this give you that same kind of vibe of like, it's chill, we're doing something, we're obviously you're breeding things like Viva Pinata.
I thought it was funny when someone had said like, oh, looking at the Forza, we're not getting Viva Pinata back after running all of them over, but it does have like a very similar feel. Like you could see you're picking up all the slimes right here. There's a bunny slime, there's a bat slime, and you basically kind of create these own little pens and environments for them, and then you feed them and stuff. So it is a very chill game, similar to Viva Pinata. You're not going in trying to, you can min-max things, but it's just chill. And then those are bad slimes. The icky goo-goos.
They deserved what they got there. Okay,
yeah, no, you blow those up.
Gotcha.
I hate to see it.
You know, again, as driving for release dates and things that I've wanted for a long time from Xbox, finally getting Flight Sim on Xbox Series X, right?
Pretty cool Top Gun crossover, too.
That was what I was gonna do. Ladies and gentlemen, you said, why is Greg Miller been doing all these bomber jacket Top Gun references? Let me tell you, I did not know that was gonna happen, but you will be getting a lot more of them when you go to e3expo.com/shop, all right? But yeah, like the fact that this is actually finally dropping and we're gonna be able to go out there and do that on the console, again, I'm so stoked for that, let alone, yeah, the idea of being Maverick now and up there.
That's what's up, yeah.
Yeah, right. It's gorgeous right there. Damon, anytime you want me to fly you back to Kansas, give me a call. Come on over. Get in there. I'll be all set.
I think overall, the conference, I enjoyed it. It was good, maybe great. I'm still mulling it over in my head. But I do think there were a couple missteps that are worth noting.
Talk to me.
I think it's interesting that we get that Starfield gets a 2022 release date, but still no release date for Halo Infinite.
Holiday.
I mean, yeah, holiday.
I know. I'm not.
Really, it was supposed to be there at launch with the Series X. So
of course.
I don't know about that.
Don't you think that comes down to the fact of right now they're confident they can hit by the end of the year, but just not on a date. They can't do it again.
So.
They don't want to be a punchline yet again on
It's going to be like the Halo 2 ARG. You have to find out what holiday they're referring to specifically.
That'll be the easiest way to track it down, right? Yeah. Michael, as we keep swinging back, what else stood out to you?
Psychonauts 2, because that's coming soon. I know Golden Boy was talking about it and Jackie was talking about it, but I did not play Psychonauts 2 yet, so I saw a hands-off demo. So Tim Schafer, if you're coming for me, please don't. But I love Psychonauts because it's surreal, it's different, it's experimental, and it's kind of the game that, Double Fine has been acquired by Microsoft, but they still have that independent spirit where they could do wild things. And Psychonauts has always been like that cult classic back in 2005. When are we going to see it again? When are we going to be Raz again? Like, I think they're very creative.
You played, of course, the genre-defining PSVR title they did. It was
Psychonauts
and the Rhombus of Ruin.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh, damn, my bad. I forgot about that. Damn, Tim Schafer's going to
So did the world. So did the world. Don't worry about it.
Psychonauts 2 is coming out soon. I can't wait to play it. It's mad whimsical, and I think that's very important to balance out a lot of the violent shootery types of games.
Damon, you got about 20 seconds. Anything else?
Anything? Oh, I also was impressed with Eiyuden Chronicles. I've never played Suikoden, but I know that I would love Suikoden. So now I get to experience like a modern-day take on Suikoden.
Jared Petty's heart just broke somewhere. You said you've never played Suikoden.
It's not the first time I've broken Jared Petty's heart.
All right, fine. Huge news from Xbox, and we've got even more to show off. We got 3 former Xbox leaders to sit down to talk the past, present, and future of the console they all helped launch.
Hello, E3. This is Dean Takahashi. I'm the lead writer for GamesBeat at VentureBeat. I've been covering games for about 24 years, and I have also covered tech for about 30 years. And so that means I was around when the original Xbox launched, and had the opportunity to write a couple of books on the Xbox business. The first one was Opening the Xbox. And I'm very pleased to have this panel of sort of a reunion of Xbox leaders here, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves as well. Let's start with Shane Kim.
So I'm Shane Kim. I spent 20 years at Microsoft, and most of that time, thankfully, was spent in the Xbox business. In fact, I joined the games business with Ed. Got to participate in an incredible time in the Xbox history with the launch of Xbox and the Xbox 360, where we really competed pretty fiercely with Sony and had some great times, including the launch of Halo 3 in 2007. So really great to be here.
And this is Robbie Bach.
Hey, everybody. My name's Robbie Bach. Like Shane, I was at Microsoft for a little over 20 years. I spent some time in the office business and then moved over to the consumer area in 1997 and joined Ed and Shane working on the PC games business. And then when Xbox got started, there was a guy named Rick Thompson who was going to run it, and Rick decided to leave Microsoft, so suddenly I was chief Xbox officer. 2010, I left Microsoft, but it's great to be back with my pals at E3.
Great, and Ed Fries.
Yeah, I'm Ed Fries. Like these guys, I was at the company about 20 years, starting in the mid-'80s, and took over the games business mid-'90s with Shane, and we grew it as much as we could on the PC side, and then this crazy Xbox project came along that we all did our best to make happen, and
still betting on the games business.
Absolutely, love the game business.
Let's start with Robbie. So, Robbie, what do you remember as the most important lesson of creating the Xbox?
Well, so I'm not the technical person, nor am I actually particularly a gaming person. So my lessons are going to be a little bit more on the business side of it. And the two big ones I took away from this time period are, one, strategy is really important, because the first version of Xbox didn't have a lot of it. It was just about sort of getting things done. And the second version, we really focused on strategy. And then the second thing I'd say is it took us quite a while to build sort of a culture as a team. Xbox team went from 0 to 100 miles an hour really quickly. And so we hired a lot of people, and there was a lot of incredible individual talent and not a lot of good team work at the beginning. And when we got the team working better together, things really started to move. And, strategy, teamwork are super obvious lessons, I know.
Content is king, right? I mean, I think we learned that. And I think this is where we did a lot of things really well with Microsoft Game Studios. We figured out that exclusive content was going to matter in the battle, especially versus Sony.
I agree with these guys completely. I mean, the first Xbox was about us running as fast as we could to meet a date, and then after that, we could breathe and reflect on all the things we did wrong. And I think you really could see that thinking expressed in Xbox 360, and saw it do better. So.
Well, Shane, let's get you the next one here. What are some contributions that your colleagues here made, I guess, to the whole effort? Like, what do you give them credit for?
That's a hard question.
Dangerous.
No, I think I'm not going to say this just because he's on the call, but I think Ed deserves a ton of credit. I mean, I owe a lot to Ed personally and professionally. I mean, Ed brought me into the games group in the 90s. I'm not, like Robbie, I'm not a technical guy. I'm not a gamer. I think that's really well known. And Ed gave me a chance, first starting on the business side and then on the content side, which led, I think, to a lot of fun and success for me personally. Ed was one of those guys who really drove it home. And, he first had the vision for Microsoft becoming a bigger player in games. First of all, that was on the PC side. And then when the Xbox project came along, he really drove that. And I don't think without Ed's credibility, with Bill and Steve, that project really would have happened. And Ed, I think also Ed gets a lot of credit because he, and others, of course, found Halo and Bungie and brought that into the Microsoft family. And that, that clearly was a critical success factor for us. And the other guy I would credit, I think deserves a lot of credit, is Jay Allard. And while I wasn't as privy to everything that Jay did, I think, when he was running the platform team, he had the vision to, drive Xbox Live. I believe he deserves a lot of credit for us not putting a telephone jack in the back of the original Xbox and just sticking to an Ethernet connector. And
I remember Robbie making that decision.
And then Robbie, of course, deserves kudos because, just getting the project off the ground in the first place is what I remember the most. Everything else that happened after that, we were committed to it. So we worked through a lot of problems, obviously, and learned a lot as we went along the way. But just getting it done, these two guys deserve a ton of credit.
Well,
that hurt.
I think that this project, to be successful, needed so many different expertise, And so, yeah, I came with kind of a product, making something technical background and a passion for games. But I had never run a business before. And without Shane, there's no way that we would have grown the game business, from the mid-90s like we did. I mean, so many different things had to come together in a short amount of time to make this happen. So it was really a team effort.
Dean, I was talking with Phil Spencer in email the other day, and he said sometimes he get asked who was the father of Xbox, and the answer you just heard is the right answer. There was just a really interesting collection of people as a team, and they weren't actually particularly alike. Figuring out how we worked, to the thing I said before, as a team was super important, and everybody got to play key roles at key times. I know it sounds sort of cliche, but it's actually how it played out. And Shane and Ed absolutely played those key roles as they described.
So now we've pissed off everybody whose name we haven't mentioned, right? one person that comes to mind, I'm going to save all you guys here with this answer, but the one person who comes to mind is having the vision for this and to actually get it off the ground. I have this admiration now for Bill Gates, being willing to lose something like maybe $4 billion on the first Xbox, and so who else has that kind of will these days? I mean, look at some of the other companies. Like
I might flip it around a little and say that once the company gets big enough, it really needs to go after big projects. And that was actually a problem at Microsoft at that time, was they couldn't find projects big enough to matter relative to the Office business and the Windows business. And so this was a project that was big enough to matter. Robbie could probably talk to this better than I could, but.
No, you're spot on, Ed. And I actually think both Bill and Steve, look, there were other people in the first 2 or 3 years of Xbox, senior leaders inside the company, who wanted to kill it. That's not new news, right? We were losing a lot of money
on every project at Microsoft, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. We were losing a lot of money. Wall Street wasn't happy about it. People thought Microsoft was crazy being hardware. But Bill and Steve, once they got on board at the beginning, were incredibly steadfast about it. And to Ed's point, I think it was the fact that it was so big, it was a chance to break through.
I'd also add, and I think it's different today when you look at the company of Microsoft in 2021 versus 2000. But it's important to remember back then, I've always thought that Microsoft was a platform company, particularly then, and we fought very hard to establish platforms like Windows and like Office. And we looked at the Xbox business opportunity as another one of those platform wars. That Sony, if you remember, had incredible success with the PlayStation 2. And I think a large part of the company strategy was we just could not cede the home territory to Sony unfettered without competing in that space. And that's why another reason why I believe, Bill, Steve, and the company were willing to make that investment, because we just needed to go compete with Sony.
Good. I think you're all back in good standing with Bill Gates now, so we'll move on. So, Ed, did you see particular challenges that were like totally surprising to you, or like challenges that maybe were just underestimated at the very beginning there?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were all super naive, which is kind of a good thing, I think, when you're going into a project. If you knew all the troubles you were going to have and how difficult it would be, you probably would never do anything. But yeah, I think the biggest thing was that we had never made a console game, right? And now we're going to make a console and a whole lineup of console games in less than 2 years. I mean, it was super, super ambitious. And, fortunately, we had a near infinite amount of resources. So you'd think that would make it possible to do the impossible. But it just made it somewhat possible, I guess. We made a bunch of bets. And, one in particular really came through with Halo. The hardware barely came together in time, as I remember it.
That's true.
there were a lot of moving pieces that just kind of had to come together. And I think actually, when you take the net of it, we did pretty well on that first launch.
Look, there were challenges everywhere. I mean, we didn't have a supply chain. We didn't have a real retail sales force. We didn't have an operations team. Our best hardware at that point was a Microsoft mouse. We had some PC games, but no console games. Xbox Live didn't exist. Broadband was just getting started. I mean, I could go on.
Other than that, though, it was all.
I could go on. I could go on for a long time. One thing I didn't mention, which I think was particularly impressive and really changed the industry in a huge way, is the bet on Halo wasn't just the bet on Halo, a game from a company called Bungie. It was a category bet too. First-person shooters were like unheard of in the console space. I mean, there'd been like one that had been successful at that point. And now you look at the console space and it's completely different. And so that to me was a transformative change. And kudos to Ed, Shane, and the Bungie team. But that was a really transformative change. And I didn't understand that when we bought Bungie. I had no idea that we were not only betting on a content company, but betting on the ability to create an entire new category on a console. That was, to me, just new territory.
I think most people doubted whether or not Halo could be successful on Xbox precisely because of that, because they hadn't been done. And then Halo's impact also, like you say, can't just be measured in terms of its success as a game franchise, but Halo in terms of driving multiplayer on Xbox Live when Xbox Live launched as well was, significant. So when we joke that content drives hardware and platforms, it's not really a joke. It had an incredible effect on Xbox and Xbox Live.
Now, Robbie, was there a pivotal moment where you thought, hey, this might actually work out?
So, yeah, there is. And it's a weird moment for me to identify because it's not like something special, some game did well or we sold a bunch of units or something like that. But it was the E3. I'm gonna get the year wrong, but I think it's 2003. Might have been 2004. Electronic Arts agreed to join Xbox Live. Everybody forgets that at the beginning, Electronic Arts wasn't on Xbox Live, and so I'm standing on stage with Don Matrick and all these sports athletes from EA Sports, and then Muhammad Ali comes on stage. And I know that's a weird thing to identify, but somehow people walked away from that, in my mind, saying, okay, these guys are here to stay. And that made a lot of ththings a lot easier. And I know it wasn't the fact that Muhammad Ali was on stage, but it's just such an iconic moment for me that's kind of burned into my memory. And I won't forget it.
I'll say, since we're picking strange moments, and Ed was gone at this time, but it's not the best moment in our history, but when Xbox 360 had its technical issues after its launch, and the company stepped up and provided at that time an unprecedented warranty, and the Xbox 360 survived and in fact thrived after that. I mean, that's the real Tylenol moment for those of us old enough to remember something like that, where a brand can survive a hit like that and actually really come back super strong. You forget that Halo 3 did not launch until 2007. So 2 years after the launch of the Xbox 360, and still Xbox 360 was able to get off to a great start there. And I think once we survived that, I think certainly I felt very confident in our ability to compete in a big way with Sony and Nintendo.
Thank you for pointing out I had nothing to do with the Red Ring. Sometimes that gets brought up and I have to explain the history. So, for me, honestly, it would be launch day of the original Xbox. Up to that point, E3 that before that launch was pretty bad. Early reviews of Halo were sketchy. Wasn't clear that the hardware was going to make it. I mean, It was a lot of things, and to see everything come together, to be standing there in Times Square with Bill Gates, and watch him give away the first Xbox, and it just kind of almost magically everything came together that night, and it really felt like this was the start of something big.
And lastly, I have a quick one for Robbie here. Robbie, do you see Microsoft's gaming strategy as being very different today versus the early days of the Xbox?
Yeah, I think it's actually changed quite a bit. Microsoft has become more of an enterprise place since we left, and yet gaming is more important there now than it was when we were there, I think. And so I think that's an interesting dynamic. I think Satya looks at Phil in the gaming business as people are kind of out at the cutting edge of technology, and they are driving new trends and new ideas, and those ideas can come back and help the rest of the company. So, in many respects, he's not, maybe he'll watch this, I don't know, but probably not, but maybe, who knows? Phil deserves a lot of credit for shaping what I think now is a really great business for Microsoft. And, Phil worked with Shane and Ed and learned a lot from them, but I think he's put the business in a very good place.
Well, thank you for the reunion, everybody. And we'll have to do this again in either 10 or 20 years.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dean.
All right.
Thanks, Dean.
Thank
you so much.
All right, so even though we are still this far out from the Xbox conference,
Look at you with your papers here.
I'm
all
a professional.
official.
We still haven't talked about Hades coming to Game Pass.
Oh,
we
looks
still
so
haven't
good.
talked about Stalker 2.
Oh.
I don't hear anybody talk about Shredders. There's just too much information.
So
the
much.
Ascent being shown again, which looks dynamite and dope, and I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
What a conference that was.
Yeah.
It was so much. It was. I thought Xbox delivered. Like
100%.
they came out, and also Xbox being bold. They were like Xbox exclusive. Like I was like, okay, they're stepping up.
Everyone,
I appreciate
all
that.
hail the Lord and Savior Game Pass, because that was there left and right as well.
Yeah,
I know.
that too. By the way,
Do you want to play with it?
Yes.
You can take it away.
I have the wrong show. But yeah, I just want to say, guys, Halo is amazing.
We know Halo is
We
amazing.
know you're a fan.
How do we
That
know
samurai
Halo is
Spartan
amazing?
suit. Oh.
We of course heard you screaming. We of course saw you talking
He cried
on the
a little
camera.
bit, yeah.
We have the reactions. They have the reactions ready
Cue
to
it up.
see. These are not canned. This
that's
is
me.
legitimately happening. This is how he watches the show.
Aw, Avi.
There's
Avi
Amelie. She just
Some stuff too. Then back to
Battlefield. Oh, I was so excited for Battlefield. Yeah.
Look at you, a kid on Christmas morning. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
But did you see the?
I could just watch
You went through all your notes. We didn't even talk about Battlefield.
I'm telling you, that's how dense the show
There was so
was.
much.
Yeah.
There was
so much to talk about. Look at you
truly.
and Michael here. Oh, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was hype too.
Aw.
Got a lot of great moments.
And again, this is how you know it was a great E3 press
Yeah,
conference.
man.
That's the reactions you want, right? Especially not having it live in
My
person,
face.
not hearing an audience, right? But
Yeah,
getting to
that's
see
Halo.
that.
My
Yeah,
arm got a
that's Halo.
cameo. I was punching you.
Yep.
There you go.
That's what it's all about. That's what it's all
Yeah.
about.
Little
Smiling
Amelie.
and screaming. Yeah.
Can we have Dan's reaction when was it Ueden? I forget the name of it. When Ueden Chronicles
yeah.
came out. I mean, the man was yelling at the top of his lungs. He kept yelling about how he financed it on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
He just kept talking about Kickstarter. He felt like he's finally getting his money's worth. He was a happy guy. He was a happy guy.
We were
And
talking. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, on top of all the games and stuff we showed, then they snuck it into the very end, which pissed me off, but I'm glad they did it, the Xbox mini fridge.
Yes.
Ah, the Xbox mini.
I was behind this on Twitter. I'm one of the reasons we got it enough likes, or they won the Twitter competition.
Yep.
Thanks to me retweeting it, and now we are all going to be able to give them our
are you
money.
taking credit for it?
I
It
put the
was-
Xbox mini fridge on the map, and you need to know it.
As a proud owner of an Xbox mini fridge.
Oh, how much did you pay for it? How much did you
flexing
pay
here.
for
Actually,
it?
it was sent to me by my good friend Dwayne The
Back
Rock
it up.
Johnson.
Put the sword down. Put the sword down. You're making me a little scared. Now I don't know if I should have given that to you or
But
not.
it was really, it's an awesome fridge. So you guys are going to love it.
Little
But I already
flex
have it
there.
because I'm famous.
Just
Yeah,
a
just a
little.
little
I'm
flex
famous
there.
because my friend The Rock sent it to me. What's up, DJ?
Are
How
you
doing, buddy?
aware? Because of our video yesterday, Ryan Reynolds followed me on Twitter today. So.
Wow,
Okay,
really?
can we all stop flexing? Cut
didn't
him
follow
off.
me.
Cut him off. Cut
He
him
was
off.
in Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Didn't tag you on purpose.
Oh.
Wow.
Jackie, you want
Do you think he would have followed you after that comment, though?
I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah,
to be
no, I
fair.
don't think it would.
You want to talk about Stalker 2, another game we haven't actually talked about?
Honestly, I thought it was eerie. It was this creepy post-apocalyptic
Yeah.
world. when the guy was dancing alone to that creepy music box, I was like, I'm here for this. Like, I just want to see more. So that was definitely at the top of my list, I think. I thought Bethesda stole the show, though, to be
Couldn't agree
fair.
more. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how we're getting things started. Xbox, your time is over. It is, ladies and gentlemen, 9 minutes.
Over. Come on.
17
All right, I'm going.
seconds.
We're going.
Wait, but this is the wrong brand. Wrong brand.
No, this is my moment.
Oh,
this
sorry.
is me
Go
as
back.
an Avengers fan.
Go
Greg,
back.
there's
All right.
no lighting there. Don't worry about it,
We'll sit
everybody.
here.
It's getting there. We're doing it. It's about time. When we return, ladies and gentlemen, Square Enix takes the spotlight. Stick around, find out what's next.
Okay, watch.
As a part of Play For All, GameSpot will be bringing you the latest gaming news and announcements, interviews with developers, the biggest press conferences, and lots more. Play For All is our yearly online event that combines the excitement and announcements of E3 with charity live streams the following week with lots of special guests who are going to help us raise money for able gamers. So join us in June for E3 and Play For All on GameSpot.com, YouTube.com/GameSpot, Twitch.tv/GameSpot, and as a part of the E3's official broadcast. See you then.
篝火营地是中国领先的游戏媒体，创立于2018年，致力于为全世界的中文游戏玩家提供专业、精准、迅速的资讯情报。篝火营地立足于中国，与多家国际一流游戏媒体同行达成正式内容合作关系，源源不断地将最新鲜的游戏资讯第一时间带给全球中文游戏玩家。自成立以来，篝火营地在全网的内容浏览量已经超过5亿，服务了数百万的读者和玩家。我们的愿景是做游戏文化传播者。您可以在全球各大手机应用市场下载篝火营地 APP， 或者访问3w.gamebonfire.com 来加入游戏传播者的行列。
The Kingdom Hearts franchise is my favorite franchise of all time.
Kingdom Hearts, that has a very special place in my heart.
Lara Croft is the reason why I started to become really adventurous in my own life. Tomb Raider, I think, became a symbol of who I wanted to be.
Tomb Raider is very important to me, and not just because I worked on it. Dad got it first, and I remember him being really excited at the T-Rex in Tomb Raider and completely spoiling it for me.
Final Fantasy VII, the original, that's what got me started on JRPGs, and I love JRPGs.
Kingdom Hearts 3 was like the biggest hype I have ever experienced. I remember taking time off work, locked myself in a room, and I stayed in that room for as long as I could.
Final Fantasy XIV is a game that I recently dipped my toes into. I didn't know anything about Final Fantasy, but I tried it and I think I put 1,000 hours into it, and it's just a matter of a few months.
So I was playing Tomb Raider, and every time I'd like get stuck, I would just like rage quit and like pop out the disc and put it back in again.
When they showed the Final Fantasy VII with new technology, to see it reimagined in such a perfect way was amazing.
The remake in general is stunning, which again, it's a Square Enix game, not shocking.
Welcome back to E3 Live from Los Angeles. Don't forget e3expo.com/shop, where you'll find all the limited edition shirts, hats, and jackets you've seen me modeling throughout the presentation. Dad hats. Up next, of course, is Square Enix Presents
Guys, what are we looking forward to most, and why is it Marvel's Avengers?
Oh my goodness. I mean, where to even start? Like, there's so many different.
Babylon's Fall, baby.
What?
Babylon's Fall, baby.
What are you doing here, Michael?
All y'all stop the show. Babylon's Fall is gonna be the most fire thing Square Enix is showing. It's gonna be game of the show. Check it. Babylon's Fall, baby.
What? You just hijacked this. I have never run into the media suite,
that just
and now, you know what I
happened.
mean? Never done that. But Babylon's Fall is being shown.
Can't believe this, man.
A lot of people are stoked about it. Michael Heim from GameSpot being one of them, of course. That's always good to see.
I didn't know
yeah.
what was going down there. I was like, Michael's coming in here really hot. Okay.
That's all he knows how to do.
Exactly.
Michael's either asleep or that hyped about weird video games.
My goodness. We were talking about Marvel's Avengers, right? A little
We're
bit
talking about
there.
everything.
Yeah, I was like,
Square
okay.
Enix in general. Yeah, of course.
This
Babylon's
show,
Fall.
I'm just like, anything goes, anything goes.
We told you we're insane.
You know what? I'm starting to understand that at a different level. So yes, War in Wakanda. I'm
Yep.
totally amped for that. We saw a little bit of an art reveal yesterday.
Sure, yeah, new look at Black Panther, right? So
Yes.
far, all we've had is that teaser trailer at the last time they had done one of the Square Enix Presents or whatever, so that's nice to see. Obviously, as I've talked to death, so we won't go any further with it.
Yeah.
Excited for more content. I need to see what the end level stuff is. They're calling this an expansion, right? It's not like the episodes we've gotten for Kate and Clint, so what does that mean? How big is this going to get? But then, of course, another one that speaks directly to me and I want is Life is Strange True Colors. I love Life is Strange. We have a brand new one coming up this September. I can't wait to see what that's all about.
Yeah. Life is Strange True Colors, that like hits very close to home for me. It's obviously about a woman dealing with the loss of her brother. And what I absolutely love about that series is that they are bold and they're like, okay, we're going to confront trauma. We're going to confront self-work. And then they somehow turn it into this beautiful video game that just absolutely hits you to the core and the feels. So I am definitely psyched to see more about Life is Strange True Colors, but also the remastered collection.
Yeah,
so,
of course, right?
Yes. Super here for it.
Yeah.
Eidos Montreal. That's it.
The new title.
That's all I'm looking forward to. I've been a big fan of Eidos Montreal for years. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. I've loved Deus Ex for years and years and years. And while I don't think we're going to get that, which isn't a bad thing, I feel like so long as more people are exposed to how great of a studio Eidos Montreal is, that to me is the winner. That's what I'm looking forward to the most, hands down.
Ladies and gentlemen, what are you excited for? It's super simple. Hashtag E3 2021 on the social medias. Shout it out there. Tell us what you want to see. We're getting closer. 2 minutes to go. That's the exciting part right here. Do you think there is going to be Xbox hangover? Square's gone out of their way, right, to say these are the games we're showing, which is great. You manage expectations. Microsoft just came out and was like, hey, here are more than 30 games that we have that we think you should be stoked for.
Yeah, there could be. That's a very common thing. It happens at a lot of different conventions, right? There's always this hype of like, this is what's going on, but we're looking forward to this. But yeah, I do think, though, that Square Enix has a great opportunity here to just show some high-quality games, as they usually do. And I think it's going to be a great, palate cleanser, if you will, from what we got, from like the overload that we got of the Xbox presser.
And that's the thing, one of the things I was complimenting Xbox about when we were off camera is the fact that there were so many games that's great because you can go in there and then find the 5 that speak to you.
Yeah.
So when you come in with a smaller roster like Square is, it really is, do you like Marvel? Do you like, if you don't like these things, then maybe we're not for you that time around.
I mean, it could be a marketing strategy. They might be like, hey, this is all we're doing, and we might see more. I don't know. I'm definitely in the camp where I like being kind of like, let us, like what's coming, what are we going to see? So they have been a little bit tight-lipped, but and they're like, hey, this is the docket, but we'll see.
Who knows?
Right?
Anything's possible. It's E3, baby.
Yeah,
it's
E3, baby.
People
Who knows?
do lie to us at E3 quite a bit.
That's right.
And so if they have something else out there,
there's one thing I've learned is that E3 is a place for deception. It's like an Among Us lobby before Among Us was even a thing. So that's
That was a good comparison.
Sure.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, I guess
I'm smart.
Here we go. Look at this.
I'm smart.
Oh, we're 16 seconds out. Okay, all right, ladies and gentlemen.
It's time break.
Without further ado, here's Square Enix Presents.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's Matt Mercer here, and I'm back as your host of Square Enix Presents. Today, we have a special E3 edition of the show for you, with new game announcements, updates, and exciting news from our studios across the globe. So let's kick off with the world premiere of a brand new game from Eidos Montreal. We hope you enjoy the show.
I am so proud of you. Do you know what a birthright is, Peter? Something that's a part of you. Like your name.
Gardeners of the Galaxy?
What? No, Rocket. So I let Groot fill out the paperwork. So we got fined.
We appear to be 6,963 units short.
I know, we clearly need a plan.
If you see anything with claws the size of Drax, let me know.
We got this. Drax, roll. No!
Monster! I'll show you, monster! No! We disrobe!
Keep your pants on.
Although it could be used as a distraction.
Smash him up, Drax! Meet your maker!
We're all professionals here, right? Maybe we can work something out.
Here! You had one job, Quill.
I did exactly what? More no-killing teammates!
That's who!
It's literally in your contract!
I made no such commitments.
In less than 3 cycles, all would be lost. The galaxy cannot be saved, Peter Quill.
We can do this together!
Fucking great, Quill!
Star-Lord, right?
It's Star-Lord.
No, of course I will. I'll call you.
Hi, my name is Olivier Proux, senior producer here at Eidos Montreal. For the past few years, we've had the privilege to work on our version of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy and reimagine it into a single-player, story-driven, third-person action-adventure game. It's our own fresh take on the Guardians, and something that's really unique to our game is that you get to be Peter Quill. As Star-Lord, you're constantly in the middle of the action as you try to lead this band of misfits. But today, I'm really excited to have all of you join us on this journey, and you'll hear more about the game from our team behind this project.
Right, let's do this.
I've always loved Marvel's cosmic characters. Growing up as a kid, I read them, enjoyed them, loved them. I had the opportunity to write for Marvel on some of their cosmic titles. I went back with the help of Bill Roseman, the editor, and kind of cherry-picked characters from Marvel's past.
The opportunity here was to build a team, but to make it all underdogs, so that the reader would think, oh my gosh, how is this team going to survive?
And that became the Guardians of the Galaxy comic, which we loved working on.
I remember the first time that the Marvel crew came to Montreal, we were showing them the design of the characters, how they would look, and they stayed silent. I don't know if it's a minute, but in my head, it was a minute. I was like, oh my God, like they hate it.
We realized how much that Marvel and Eidos Montreal share and have in common, and that we knew the Guardians were in perfect hands.
Looking at the samples that Eidos were kind enough to show me, I think he's fantastic and absolutely in the spirit of what these characters are.
What makes the gameplay experience unique to me is no matter in what phase of the game you are, whether you're in exploration or you're fighting, the Guardians are constantly around you and you never feel alone. While you're the leader, the Guardians will also challenge you and make decisions on their own, and you will have to adapt to it.
You are literally part of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
The decisions you'll make will have lighthearted to haunting repercussions, and the game will react to what you do and say.
Gamora, no killing teammates!
Says who?
It's literally in your contract! I made no such commitment.
You are playing as Star-Lord and you're using your blasters and you're using your jet boots.
Star-Lord is really empowering. He's very agile on the battlefield. He can slide and over with his jet boots. Of course, he has his elemental blasters that have different powers as well. And on top of all of this, he can use the unique abilities of his Guardians.
We're not pirates. We're legally incorporated heroes for hire.
Gardeners of the Galaxy?
What? No!
The story is about a group of misfits, the Guardians. In our world, they've been together for less than a year. They create something on a small scale that looks insignificant. And as they progress through the story, they discover that they created something really big that threatens the galaxy.
There are a lot of very interesting villains in the Marvel franchise. And when you're starting to work on a story like this, you get to get your pick of which ones will make the best for this story. That gives us the opportunity to bring in some that are well known, but some that are also not all that well known.
What Eidos is getting so right about them is capturing what it's like to be a misfit family. They're also bringing an amazing imagination to it. You're going to see planets and characters that are going to blow your mind.
Interpreting it in its own way, I think, makes it feel incredibly fresh and exciting. It's not a matter of trying to replicate the comic or trying to replicate the film. It's trying to take the medium you're working in and make the best version of Guardians out of that.
They made it fun. They made it rock and roll. They delivered everything you would want in a Guardians game.
$37 units?
We appear to be 6,963 units short. If we intend to keep our ship, Peter Quill.
I know. We clearly need a plan.
What about selling Gamora's crap?
What?
Oh, come on. You've been hoarding them stupid knickknacks ever since you first joined us. I mean, don't tell me they ain't worth nothing.
Quarantine zone was always
holding out on
My
us.
figurines are not knickknacks.
Team's in trouble. Then you can't be bothered to make no sacrifice.
I will sacrifice your head.
And take us to the majestic mountains of Kakarantara.
Guys, I think we should hear out Groot for once.
You know, the only problem with your plan is that Lady Hellbender only buys monsters, and you are not a monster.
Groot, are you really offering to...
No, he is not offering that, okay?
It could work.
Sell Groot? I guess we could bust him out after.
Absurd. Lady Hellbender seeks the monster within. The small, ugly one is clearly the correct choice. He's cruel, sadistic, and his soul is filthy and filled with rage.
I vote we sell Groot. I honestly think Lady Hellbender will go for it.
Yeah, well, I vote for not Groot.
I also vote for the creepy little beast.
2 votes each. Peter?
Well, Rocket's definitely scarier on the inside. He's unstable and vicious and totally oblivious to the needs of others.
Okay, we get it.
All right, let's do this. Let's go sell a monster.
We're not seriously flying into that.
You say the weather patterns of Seknarf 9 are tied to the temperament of its ruler.
That's not how women work.
Or weather.
We're flying the wrong way.
Nah, he's not flying at all.
Guys, relax. Just one minor adjustment.
I ever mentioned how much I hate rain?
Hellbender's castle isn't even that far. That is not a castle. It is an impregnable fortress.
So how do we impregnate it?
Ask Peter!
Let's just get closer. We'll figure it out on the way. There is nothing to figure out. As beast merchants, we will easily gain access to Lady Hellbender. Good!
We've already got a beast! All that's left is the merchant part!
Good thing I put on my official merchant costume.
There is no such thing! Right?
The fact you ain't sure don't bode so good.
Whoa! That is some really crazy lightning out there! Never seen anything like it!
Meteorological suicide is what it is!
Hey, is my jacket all right?
At least you got a jacket. Some of us are soaking here.
Less whining, more walking.
Hey, Stormlord, we ain't seriously walking through this. It'll take forever in this storm.
Stop complaining. The hardship will strengthen your spirit.
I face more than enough hardship. Thank you very much.
You are welcome, Feeble One.
We got this. Just don't fall and we'll be fine. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa.
Everyone okay? We should have gone to Maku 4. I would be wary, Rodent.
You know what? I survived freaking Half-World. I think I'm scared of some little...
It's not alone. Get ready.
What are these things?
They are amorphous vermin.
Shoot first, questions later.
Chop them, Gamora!
This won't hurt much.
Smash them up, Drax!
Meet your maker. Steel Boy's enjoying this way too much.
This is the local fauna.
It's about to be an endangered species.
Groot, Hawkeye time! Oh, you, Rocket!
Time to go boom!
I am eager to experience Lady Hellbender's legendary menagerie.
Should we ask them for directions?
I'm thinking maybe they are directions.
Oh, like a signpost or something.
I'm not saying it's an arrow with the word fortress on it, but statues suggest civilization, and the only settlement I saw when we were topside
was Lady Hellbender's fortress.
Dead end. That's just great.
It's a retractable bridge. They used them at the prison I was in.
Too bad the controls are on the other side of the giant chasm.
What do you not have time to dawdle in this jungle? I shall hurl the creature over the chasm so he may activate the bridge.
I may activate a hole through your face! Put me down!
It'll be fine. Just curl up in a ball.
What?
Drax, throw him.
No!
Very well.
Peter?
It's okay. He'll land on his feet. Ooh, I guess that only applies to cats.
You sons of sharks! Scut-busting ass!
I am not familiar with these words. Order the beast to do its job.
Rocket, come on, man!
Ram it, ass face!
Fix the bridge and we'll raise your cut by 5%.
I want 10.
Okay, deal. Thanks for the bridge, Rocket.
If you even think of pulling that scud again.
Hear that?
Guys. I got it.
These creatures are perfect predators.
Stop cheering for the murder monster!
At least somebody's having fun.
You are my prey!
Keep it together, Doc!
Bad dog! Bad dog!
We've got the numbers!
Not if you count all that teeth we know. Let's go for the huge predator!
Avoid the mouth, dodge the tail, slice the ear!
Is anything on this planet not trying to kill us? Guys, huddle up! Already missing the jiggle jellies!
They keep moving around!
It is past time, my blade!
Don't get too close to that mouth!
We can't over!
This guy barely feels it!
Yeah, I smell it too!
Come on, we got this!
Perhaps these were sent by Lady Hellbender.
Well, she can keep them!
How come monsters are never friendly? That that is definitely in my top 10 fortresses.
Peter?
Aren't you forgetting something?
Oh, right. The cage.
The point of even getting the Flarkin thing was looking like we mean business.
All right, Rocket. Time to put on your monster face.
I only got one face, Quill.
Are you sure about this, Peter? Look at him. You better have one hell of a sales pitch.
Maybe Gamora's right. We should try selling Groot instead.
Really? This is an affront to democracy.
I just think that we might need Rocket on the outside for this one.
Yeah, we noticed.
You want to make that call, then you better not mess this up.
You hang tight there, bud. When the time comes, I'll get you out of there. Rocket style if I gotta.
Drac. Gamora, can you help me with this? What? Why?
To guarantee your safety as a leader.
Ah, come on.
Don't look at me. I ain't pulling that thing. Remember, buddy, menacing! Like me, only bigger.
I am Groot.
Not bad. Not bad.
Easy, big guy.
So, how long before someone else wants to pull this thing?
You're 60 clicks from the fortress.
I'd say closer to 75.
We got this. Rocky, what are you doing? Who's the monster now? Rocket, what the?
Guardians of the Galaxy. How many times do I have to kill you? The audacity that you thought you could rob me, Dweller! Feast upon them!
Now we're going to revisit two iconic brands that are being remastered for modern platforms. First up, relive the classic games in the Final Fantasy series, and then get one more peek at Legend of Mana ahead of its June 24th launch. Up next, Earth's mightiest heroes continue their fight to defend the world in Marvel's Avengers. The team at Crystal Dynamics is excited to share the latest updates with you, including new mission types and a growing roster of heroes.
Rangers, secure that super weapon at all costs. Cosmic energy is building up.
Every second counts, people. Keep it moving.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
You're out of your depth, Avengers.
Shutting you down, Monica.
The world doesn't need Avengers. AIM will save this world. I will save it.
There is no end to these clones.
You don't understand what that cube is capable of.
I applaud your efforts to connect with your roots, but as a man who has seen 3 Black Panthers fall, I must warn you of a few things. Many eyes follow the path you are about to walk down.
They say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around, now say the same.
You just wanted to show off
They
your
chasing
suit.
the fame, they all want the name. But they ain't got what's running through these veins. Make way for the king.
It is Claw.
Vibranium doesn't belong to you.
You are right. Vibranium does not belong to me. It belongs to Wakanda.
Look at me now, they can't hold me down. So give me the crown. They say I walk like a king, talk like a king. You can act around now, say the same thing. They chasing the fame, they all want the name. But they ain't got what's running through these veins. Say I walk like
Now it's time to give mobile players a quick look at some of the games that will be available in the coming months.
Good evening, 426. Our intelligence reports a new threat to global stability. Their reach is unlike anything we have seen before. Following Agent 47's disappearance, you were selected because of your remarkable skills. Execution must be perfect. We will strike from the shadows, and they will never know what hit them.
A sad and beautiful tale that echoes throughout eternity. The first mobile entry in the Nier series. Nier Reincarnation.
Today, the team at Platinum Games is giving you an exclusive look at the epic world of Babylon's Fall, featuring fluid combat, powerful weapons, and a unique art style.
Built over 1,000 years, it was meant to be a tower of dreams. But for 1,000 more, it was seen as a tower of ruin. Persevering through fire and ice and the coldest of winds, eventually the tower became a symbol of unrelenting ambition. That tower's name is Babylon.
Does the savior of Neo-Babylon stand among us? Let's find out without further ado.
If I'm to die, then I'll die for hope, for what little hope there may be.
Seen through the veil at last, have you? We're all prisoners of our subjective reality. Believe only what you see, and you're like to end up seeing only what you believe.
Not but two paths lie ahead. Ascend to the heavens above the tower, or fall like this one now before you.
Now begins its tale of both hope and despair.
プラチナゲームズは本当にアクションという部分に関しては世界屈指のデベロッパーだと思ってますし、ニーアオートマタでそれが証明できたんじゃないかなと思ってます。
ニーアオートマタのアクションをもっと楽しむためにどうしたらいいかで選ばれたジャンルがハック&スラッシュでしたので、このゲームのコンセプトは端的に言うとニーアオートマタのアクションでハック&スラッシュというジャンルを楽しむということになります。
もちろん1人でも遊べるんですけど、4人でダンジョンを攻略していくゲームになります。
コンセプトについては、プレイヤーが、途切れない目標に向かって、アクション、追い求め続けることができると。プレイヤーは、ストーリーを追いながらダンジョンをクリアして上層を目指していくと。入手する装備や素材を集めて自身を強化してカスタマイズしていくと。
ゲームのスタイルとしては、オーソドックスなハック&スラッシュという形ですね。ただアクションがスキルや強い力を引き出すためのトリガーになっているところがポイントかなと思っています。
プレイヤーの背中についているギデモコフィーというのがかなりキーアイテムとなっています。それによって、遊び方とかカスタマイズの方向性っていうのも変わってきます。
ハイファンタジー感というか、その上品さというところはすごい意識してくれというふうには言われましたね。カートゥーンチックにならないようにというか、リアルに本当に存在している人たちがいるかのような感じは意識しました。
このゲームは運営型のゲームとして開発しています。発売後も定期的に新しいコンテンツを提供する予定です。
ようやく皆さんに改めてこういった形で発表できたこと、本当に私たちも嬉しくなっていますし、まさにこれから開発の佳境になっていくので、精一杯頑張っていきたいので、皆さんも引き続き応援よろしくお願いいたします。
Now let's check out the next major entry in the popular Life is Strange series, True Colors. The team at Deck 9 is ready to give you a deeper look at Alex Chen's psychic power of empathy. But first, here's a look at the Life is Strange Remastered Collection.
Feels so weird to be back. After 5 years, you're still Max Caulfield.
What do you remember about us as kids?
I think about us as little pirates, running and jumping through Arcadia Bay.
We are awesome!
Come on, let's dance! Or take my picture with your new camera.
We both got scars and it's so hard to
That's Rachel Amber. After my dad died and you moved, I felt abandoned.
Oh,
good, you're here. Rachel saved my life. She was my angel. Something happened to her. We have to find her, Max. Holy shit. Max, what's going on?
Whoa. I discovered I could reverse time.
What the hell is this?
Whatever's going on between us is special.
Step back before you regret it.
Ben, Max!
Then I realized I had a choice and the power to change everything. Arcadia Bay is on the edge of disaster. Time to change time.
Whatever happens, I'll always have your back. Always.
Hi, I'm Maya, also known as MXMTune. I'm a musician and the singing voice of Alex Chen in the upcoming Life is Strange True Colors. I hope you enjoyed that first look at official gameplay from the remastered collection. As a longtime fan, I know I did. You can see the love and care that Deck 9 have put into remastering both Life is Strange and Before the Storm. This collection features improved character animation, lip sync, and visuals, breathing new life into these two beloved games. Back in March, we also revealed the next major game in the series, Life is Strange True Colors, a small-town supernatural mystery. Alex Chen must uncover the truth behind her brother's death, using her psychic power of empathy to unravel the shocking secrets of Haven Springs. Today, we have a first look at Alex's unique power in action. Here's game director Zach Garris for more.
Alex's psychic power of empathy is integral to the story of Life is Strange True Colors. It impacts every relationship she builds and every decision she makes.
Never thought I'd have a freaky empath friend.
For years, Alex has been unable to shut out the strong feelings of others, the fear, sadness, and anger of those around her, leading her to believe her power is a curse. In the wake of Gabe's death, Alex realizes the only way she can find the truth is to embrace her power.
I can't believe this is happening. And the only way to understand is to feel what he's feeling.
From the very start, you can use Alex's power to focus on brightly colored auras to gain an insight into people's emotions.
Gabe was too young. Just too young.
These valuable insights deepen Alex's relationships with the folk of Haven Springs, as well as sparking new dialogue options and events, as here from a scene very early on in the game.
You're gonna lose her. You're gonna lose her, and it's all your fault.
Alex has uncovered a secret that Mac wants to keep hidden from his long-term girlfriend, and now he is terrified that Alex will reveal it before he can talk to Riley.
She is the best thing that's ever happened to me. So please, help me out.
Mac's telling you a whole lot of bullshit.
Listen.
Thanks for telling me the truth, Alex.
Are we still together?
Are you serious? I need to get back to work.
Sure, Alex, we'll get out of your way.
When Alex encounters a particularly strong aura, she can reach out to actively connect with that person's emotions. This generates a nova, a supernatural flare that transforms the world around Alex into a reflection of that person's psyche. In this altered, emotionally charged state, Alex can experience fragments of thoughts and memories to get to the root of their issue. But not every emotional crisis can be easily dealt with. Some carry a dangerous, even life-threatening amount of power.
He's dead! I wish I were too.
No decision is easy, and the consequences will be felt across the game.
This anger could kill her. What if I could just take it away?
Using Alex's power is the only way you can uncover the truth behind her brother's death.
What would that do to her? What would it do to me? And even if I can, should I?
How far will you go in pursuit of that truth? The choice is yours.
Alex's powers look so awesome. I have no idea how I'll make some of these choices, but I can't wait to play it with you all when it comes out on September 10th. Don't forget, you can pre-order Life is Strange True Colors now. And if you choose the Ultimate Edition, you'll also receive the Life is Strange Remastered Collection. And that's it for today. Make sure to follow the Life is Strange social channels for more.
And now, we are excited to unveil a brand new title from Square Enix Japan.
I'm here to kill Chaos. That's my mission. Looks like Chaos has been waiting for us.
You gonna make us go in there and find you?
Guess we'll just show ourselves in.
I only know one thing. I want to kill Chaos. We need to.
Live and die!
It's not a hope or a dream. It's like a hunger. A thirst.
Move aside! You're dust!
You sure Chaos is here?
Yeah, they can only squash monsters for so long. I hate doing pest control.
This is the Shrine of Chaos. He's here. We just have to hunt him down.
Feel the pain!
The darkness is so thick I can taste it. This is it. No doubt.
Die already!
There was a knight who left on the same journey as you, but never returned. His name was Garland. If you could, I would be grateful if you looked for him.
Chaos.
I'll crush you! Know when you're beaten!
And who are you? We're here to kill Chaos.
The prophecy's very own Warriors of Light.
Real.
He always wore such splendid armor, with a helmet that was terrifying to behold.
It's Garland!
No. I become Chaos.
I'll leave you with a look at some of the amazing Square Enix titles you can play now, as well as those to come.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but
Just hit me with it.
we're gonna drop plate number 7.
They're gonna do what?
It's all or nothing.
No, of course I will. I'll call you.
Thank you for joining us today. Keep an eye out for news about our next Square Enix Presents. I'm Matt Mercer. See you next time.
Welcome back, everybody. The Square Enix presentation is a wrap. You taking notes?
They take it down right
I don't
to the
blame
wire.
you.
Right
I was
to the
taking
wire
notes
on what they're going to be
too.
doing on this thing, Jackie.
You know what? It was very tough to follow up the Xbox presentation, but I actually found this very exciting. They dived really deep on a lot of games.
Spent a lot of time on a lot of things they were doing, which I appreciate quite a bit.
In particular, Guardians of the Galaxy. So
Guardians of the Galaxy.
what? Sorry, I almost hit you.
No, you hit your pen.
I did.
Don't
I got a little
hurt
mark
yourself.
on my finger.
That's on you. Everybody saw
Anyway,
she did that.
okay, yeah, I did. It was my fault. I have a little pen mark now. Anyways, yes, Guardians of the Galaxy. I loved it. I'll be honest. Yeah.
No, it's interesting to see it on Twitter. The opinions are split on it.
100%.
For me personally, I was into it, of course, having Guardians, the music, and then for me personally, the choices.
Yeah.
And then they're saying it's single player, and then it's this year. Like, they were hitting on all the things I would want from a Marvel game right away. And that is, let's get us in there, let's have a story, let's see what the permutations can be. Yeah, I thought it was funny that, the hardest thing in video games a lot of times is trying to nail humor.
100% agree with you there,
With the Guardians already having such an established reputation now, thanks to James Gunn and his amazing films.
I know, right?
To step in and Tim got to see a preview. He was talking a bit on our stream about it of this is going to be 80s music focused rather than the 60s and 70s that we saw.
Oh yeah, Bonnie Tyler off the top.
Totally.
I need a hero.
And then even as we were going through, we were all talking about how it is reminiscent of Final Fantasy VII, right? With the stagger system, and I'm talking about remake, of course. The stagger system we were seeing there. Obviously, Andy called it out that it was a lot like Ratchet and Clank right now that he's playing because you're calling up and going into the menu wheels that are weapons, but in this are, all right, I want Gamora, and I want Gamora to do this action. I think that really opens it up for some cool gameplay.
Yeah, honestly, I was really impressed with the gameplay. I was talking with Michael a little bit. We were like, hey, little hints of Deus Ex there. It was like, pick this or pick this.
Right.
Sell Rocket or sell Groot. You know what I mean? And we were like, oh my God, we love that. I also really enjoyed watching how you could summon your teammates.
Totally.
Michael was comparing it to spells and abilities, essentially.
Yeah, from
so I was there for it. Like you said, we're getting a mixed reaction online right now. When Marvel's Avengers first dropped, everybody was like, they don't look like them. They don't look like, what we saw in the movies. And I understand that, but I'm sorry, Gamora's look, I'm cosplaying that, man.
Yeah, Gamora
I am
looks
cosplaying that, yeah. So, I don't know, definitely getting a mixed reaction, but I love the music. I thought the funny beats hit. And I think that with anything that has to do with Guardians of the Galaxy, and again, very tough to follow up the movies, I was a little nervous. I was like, is the humor gonna be good here? And I thought all the dialogue really delivered, to be honest. So
100%, yeah, I'm right there with you. And I think that's what's gonna be interesting about it. I think it is, again, we all know Guardians because of the MCU. And so getting into this game, it's going to be that moment and having to get in and settle into what this universe is. But even by the end of it, I thought at first, I'm like, man, Peter Quill's hair is kind of tall in this, right? And he's got a much blockier
He's got
build.
some Greg Miller hair vibes going on.
I wish my hair could get that tall.
Actually, shout out to Genevieve. She cut your hair.
She did. She cut my hair and gave
Lovely
me my entire
Genevieve.
outfit. That's right.
I love you.
But yeah, for the game, I thought their Rocket voice actor was real good, right? Because again, these are already so iconic. I thought their Drax was good in terms of not being Dave Bautista, but being in that.
First of all, did you hear our producers? They're saying, pull your hair back, and they were like, we were talking to Greg.
They didn't say it in my ear.
I was like, oh, okay, is it supposed to be me?
All right,
or
ladies
Greg?
and gentlemen, then it's a hair emergency. It's a hair emergency. We will toss to a package. But wait, there's more, ladies and gentlemen. I had the pleasure of chatting with some of the big brains from Marvel Games and Eidos Montreal about the new Guardians of the Galaxy game. Let's take a look. Hair! All right, Mary, Jean-Francois, and Tim, let's talk Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. How did your collaboration with Marvel come together?
The collaboration with Marvel Games came together a few years ago when we met for the first time to see that how we would create this Guardians of the Galaxy game. And what was really exciting about our first meeting and talking together is that we were sharing exactly the same vision about where to go with the game. And Marvel Games really wanted us to really embrace our creativity and give a fresh spin on this universe and explore different ideas. And it was also our wish as well, because as creators, you really want to look at the source material and bring it somewhere else and bring fresh ideas on the table. So in the initial discussions, like we were all aligned with that. So it was really, really exciting.
Yeah, so the collaboration with between Marvel Games and Eidos Montreal came about in what I feel like as a really kind of natural fit, right? I think we're always striving to partner with the best developers in the world, and pair them with the right franchise, right? Something that they care about. We at Marvel here have always been a huge fan of Eidos and what they've done with the Deus Ex franchise, and their passion for sci-fi and world building. So when we saw how passionate they were about not just Marvel, but specifically the Guardians, I think it just felt like a natural fit.
Okay, so tell us more about your original take on Guardians of the Galaxy.
Absolutely. When we start a project, the first thing that we do is really get to the source material. And then in this case, like the comics, like there's like over 80 years of comics at Marvel and everything, and a lot of like more underground characters, more prominent characters and whatnot. So the first few steps were really to read comics and exchanging among us with Mary, with other of the crew here at Montreal. And we started to solidify some ideas that we were also running in collaboration with Marvel. And Marvel also, they were feeding us with ideas too, like, hey, that could be interesting or that. So it was really in that mindset that we were looking at like the source material and see what we could take of it, but not take it one for one.
Distilling all those sort of key features down allowed us to understand what these characters are about. And then like JF said, tapping into the history in comics and animation, and of course the films, allowed us to sort of bend and shape these characters in ways that fans may have not seen before, and perhaps even expand on what they may already know. So yeah, outside of that, I think we also have a lot of fun with playing with well-known characters and factions like Mantis or the Nova Corps, but also like introduce characters that are newer or lesser known, right? Like Lady Hellbender or the Blood Brothers or even Cosmo the dog, right? Like just diving into this untapped cosmic corner of the Marvel universe. And I think, the hope is obviously, the fans will enjoy what we put together for them, right?
So what was your main source of inspiration when working on Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy?
Obviously, we're familiar with the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and we went back and rewatched them. We watched some of the animated television series, and we did a deep dive into the comic books. And from that, we really got a sense of who these Guardian characters are. And what was fascinating for me is that in every incarnation, whether it be the comic books or the movies themselves, there's a core essence to these characters, and yet the interpretation changes. So that really was inspiring to know that we could take our own unique vision of these characters as long as they stayed true to the essence. And so then we were able to draw on personal experiences from our own lives and different source materials that we are enjoying ourselves to kind of see how do they blend in to this wonderful Marvel sandbox that we're allowed to play in.
Okay, so we play as Star-Lord. Why did you guys pick that narrative pathway? And then, I guess on top of that, how does Star-Lord interact with the other Guardians?
Becoming Star-Lord became a natural choice, especially that he considers himself as the self-proclaimed leader of the team. And in this third-person action adventure, like we just said, we control Peter, but we constantly interact with the Guardians as we move forward, like whether it's in banter as we explore, or we can use their super abilities when we're facing puzzles or in combat and things like that. So ultimately, the vision was to really put you in the shoes of one of the Guardians and feel their presence throughout. You focus on Peter, you have your button for the Guardians, you summon them, and they will banter, they will react in combat. So even though we're not in a cutscene or things like that, they constantly stay alive. So the narrative or the liveliness of the Guardians remains alive all the way through. And when we get into some of the more, I would say, epic encounters or with different characters in the Marvel lore, sometimes you have the opportunity to try to convince some of those entities to side with you or not. And since Peter is the smooth talker, he can use his like social skills for that. But the Guardians are always there, and they can chip in the conversation, or you can ask them to get involved and hope to get better results. So all that to say that for us, like playing as Star-Lord and being like constantly around the Guardians and feeling to be part of this family was at the heart of what we were trying to achieve, no matter in what aspect of the game you are at any given time.
What is the overarching story, and who are the Guardians going to confront?
The story takes place in space, obviously, 12 years after a massive war has swept through the galaxy, destroying civilizations and planets, upending lives, and many people are still trying to recover from the losses that they suffered at that time. As Peter Quill, he wants to put that past behind him, and he has pulled together this team of space outlaws and former galactic war heroes, and he's convinced them that there is a great deal of money and some really wild adventures to be had if they rebrand themselves and sell themselves as heroes for hire. So the team's been together for not very long. They've been on a few missions already when the game has begun, just long enough to kind of know each other, but not long enough to have really gelled as a team. And on their current mission, their kind of carefree approach to exploration as they're out trying to capture this very elusive monster, it culminates in this bet that goes spectacularly sideways. And the next thing they know, they've kind of inadvertently set off a series of catastrophic events that are going to start really upending the rest of the galaxy. And the more they start realizing it and start kind of exploring and encountering this, the more they start to understand that this bizarre corruption has spread out like wildfire across the galaxy, and it's going to destroy everyone if someone doesn't stand up and stop it. And fortunately or unfortunately, no one else wants to do it. So in the end, the Guardians find themselves kind of as this last stand against this mysterious order that it wants to annihilate anyone who won't bow to its will.
So how do the choices and consequences affect the player's journey?
Infusing choice and consequence into a game has always been very important to us as a development team. As gamers, we want to see our choices and our decisions reflected back to us in fun and surprising ways, whether that be through the reaction of our Guardian teammates or our allies and enemies that we encounter along the way, whether it's opening or closing different gameplay pathways. In Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, of course, you're playing as Star-Lord, and he is the leader of the team. So he is at the center. You are at the center of every single gameplay choice, every single combat, every single social interaction and dialogue choice that's possible within this game. And there are a lot of them. And the choices that you make are going to play out. These micro decisions that you make are going to have repercussions on your journey and change the experience for you as you go. Obviously, we were trying to build a very strong, compelling story, and So the story will have the same beginning and the same ending for everyone, because we want to create this really gripping emotional journey that builds and builds into this massive Marvel superhero ending.
All right, it's the big question. What role does music play in Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy?
The ambience in Guardians of the Galaxy was a very important aspect. And when I say that, I'm talking specifically about 2 points. The first one is the aesthetics of the game. And after that is the audio experience. From an aesthetic perspective, what was really important for us was, since we're talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy and how colorful they are and how like it's a quirky bunch and everything. And there's a lot of humor in the game. And we wanted also the art style to reflect that. Like we wanted a game that would be colorful, would be like awakes your sense of wonder, discovering the different places you go, that they feel alien, different than what you experience on Earth. And we really wanted to take advantage of, like, when you go in some alien planets, like they speak a different language than you don't understand all the aliens that you will hear through the journey. And it's a part also of making you feel like you're discovering the galaxy as well. Like you don't know everything everywhere. So that was quite exciting. So we really wanted that to be colorful and vibrant, should I say. And in terms of the audio ambience, is that Peter Quill is a kid that grew up in the 80s, and unfortunately, at a young age, he was kidnapped by aliens, and his I would say scheme of references is really rooted in the 80s, like music, movies, video games, all these things, and we wanted to bring that forward. So you can expect in the Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game a very great eclectic soundtrack, like really rooted in the 80s and capturing that vibe. It was really important for us to really bring those two aspects together, to create a fresh look, to have something that feels positive. Like there's a lot of emotions. There will be laughs, a lot of laughs, but there will also be drama. But ultimately, it was to create an experience that would stay with you with a feel-good vibe. And those two aspects are key to achieve that.
All right, tell me, what's the release date?
I'm very excited to see this game come out. It's going to come out on October 26th, and it is going to be available on PC and PlayStation and Xbox consoles. It's going to be an epic ride with lots of adventure, lots of drama, and I really, really can't wait for you to play it.
Thank you all for coming to talk about Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. Now back to our show. Thank you, Greg, for that great interview.
He was fantastic.
I wonder what they were blurring out
Exceptional
behind him during the Marvel interview, but we won't talk about that. We've been talking a lot about Guardians of the Galaxy, obviously, since before we went to break. Instead, let's get to what the final announcement there was.
Yeah.
Stranger of Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origin.
I love that. We both were like, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. Just want to make sure we got that all in,
most
right?
Final Fantasy games, I have to read it off the page a few dozen times before I can memorize the entire name.
That is a long title, and right now social media is blowing up.
Of course, again, another one with people having a lot of opinions. What, of course, stood out for me is what they started with, right? That fact that it's Team Ninja. Of course, Ninja Gaiden, you're going to have Neo. You know it's going to be this action-based combat, and that's, of course, what they were stressing throughout the trailer, that it's not your daddy's Final Fantasy. This is a different take on it, right, as they jump into this gig and have that kind of
I'll be honest, somebody said there might be something else on the docket. I don't know who mentioned that. That was me.
Oh, you did? Okay.
But no, I was just like, let's see how they end this thing. And oh my gosh, you heard our E3 crew back there. They were hooting, they were hollering. I mean, a Final Fantasy spinoff. I mean, we're all here for that. No one is going to complain about that at all. And actually, we do have a poll up right now.
I was going to say, but what are you here for, ladies and gentlemen? We, of course, asked you what your favorite announcement was from Square. And it looks like right now, look at that. It's neck and neck, Guardians versus Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. And Guardians with the narrow lead right now, 32%. Remember, of course, you can vote wherever you are watching us, whether it be on Twitch, whether it be on YouTube. You put it in there. Of course, if you want to be on the bottom bar, hashtag E3 2021. you can get on there by tweeting with that. And if you would just compliment me, that would go up there and really put some of the people in the Twitch chat to shame because they don't like me.
Greg Miller compliments everybody. Keep them coming. Just to talk about Stranger of Paradise a little bit more, I thought the story seemed really interesting. The Warriors of Light versus Chaos.
They are all going to kill Chaos. They're all going to kill.
They are determined.
These people hate Chaos.
That was some JRPG moments there, right?
Totally.
They were just like, kill Chaos, hate Chaos, Chaos, Chaos. I was like, okay, I'm here for it. I'm 100%
this is your motivation.
here for
Go
that.
For it.
Exactly. But that definitely stood out to me. I'm really not surprised by the poll, though. There were a lot of great titles.
Oh, sure.
As we talked about in the beginning, they were deep diving so hard on these titles here. So
deep diving on a lot of the titles. Not on Marvel's Avengers, though.
Oh my gosh, you're right. I was kind of like, I wanted more there.
Man, me too. I really thought we were going to get, War for Wakanda expansion. Here's a look at what the gameplay will be.
I thought we were going to get a gameplay.
And we got a great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the setup cinematic they used. Of course, Black Panther facing off against Claw. The fact with the narration that I've seen 3 Black Panthers fall already.
Yeah.
Shuri being there, right? And being able to be like, all right, cool. This is the world you're in. But I was looking for more in terms of what we would be getting into.
I was hoping we'd get a little bit more of a look at the landscape. Gameplay would have been fantastic. I mean, we love how it looks. I have absolutely adored his costume. I thought the teaser definitely got me hyped. But I will totally agree with you there. I was hoping we get a little bit
My hope, of course, as a Marvel's Avengers fan, is the fact they're going to deep dive in on their social channels. Because during the presentation, they didn't put out dates. They showed the roadmap, showed where they've come with Tachyon Anomaly and everything else. But they talked about Cosmic Cube, showed us going up against Scientist Supreme from the main game. And that actually has a date, June 22nd. That was announced on Twitter after the fact. And the same thing for War for Wakanda. Didn't mention when it's coming, but on Twitter they confirmed August.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping more and more information about it will be dropped that way. For the fans like us, or me, no, I'm not going to drag you down.
You can throw me in there.
No,
actually,
you don't know nothing about Wasteland Patrol.
Hold on. Avilee and I actually hosted a Marvel's Avengers launch event together.
Wow.
Yeah, so
how many 150 characters you got right now?
Okay, all right. Just flex a little more. He and Golden Boy, all about the flexing. Who's got the Xbox mini fridge? How many characters
we don't talk about that, all right? With the one, but yeah, then they showed more Wasteland Patrols.
Yeah.
Again, that's cool for me. I like the idea of being able to team up with friends and just go. If you're not familiar, you just go through the Wasteland, random boss fights, different things. There's gear you can only acquire there. That's exciting.
Yeah.
And again, they're on track with their roadmap, which has been Marvel's Avengers' early problem, right? Like, of course, Kate and Clint were supposed to be there in September, so then October and November they were supposed to be here, and that got way pushed out to December and then this year for Clint.
I'm a little sad. I was really hoping something big for you, Greg.
You know what? Again,
it was
looked
okay.
good.
It was a taste of it. It was a taste of it,
I think one of those things is that, and I shouldn't say universally because it's the internet, most people like the Marvel Avengers campaign to some extent.
Yeah.
So if they've taken the learnings and they just want to give us more of that with the Black Panther expansion, of us playing through and being Black Panther, I'm okay with that.
So you're happily intrigued, I would say.
Of course. Oh, yeah, this doesn't do anything for my excitement. No, I'm still totally there. I am excited. I would like to know if anybody can hit up Square and find out, does Life is Strange Remastered have new trophies? Because I wouldn't mind replatinuming those games.
It looks great. I loved seeing the remaster, and we got an in-depth look at True Colors, too, some interviews, so I'm here for it. Life is Strange, yay. But
again, it's one of those things.
We're just chatting away.
I know.
Here. We got to get the E3 crew in here.
We had all the stuff, the mobile games, the Final Fantasy, what they call it, pixelated.
I wish you could see the handwriting on here, by the way, too.
That's journalism school in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Enough about what we've been talking about. Let's see what our old friend Golden Boy has to say. Golden Boy!
Hi.
Man, talk about just sucking all the air out of the room, Greg Miller. Geez, every topic we have just grabbed away from us. It's not fair. Now, folks, this was the part of the show where we were going to give Michael Hyam from GameSpot here an opportunity to monologue about Babylon's Fall. But unfortunately, Michael is having second thoughts. So, Michael, hold my hand. And how do you feel about Babylon's Fall, Papi?
Oh, man. I think, I set myself up. I was like, I'm disappointed. But it's okay. It's all right. I still want to give, a chance. Platinum Games has a great history. Great history. You know what I'm saying? Bayonetta. The thing is like, oh, maybe this is the next thing in line to follow up Nier Automata. And then Yosuke Saito, my boy, Yosuke Saito's on the project.
Say your pain. Say your pain, Papi.
And then it's like, oh, it's a live service game, and it's endless, and we didn't really get any narrative bits. thoughts about it. So, you know, I still want to give it a chance. You know, like Damon said, like that art style does kind of look fire. Like, cool. Oh, it looks promising.
We're committed, by the way.
Yeah. I got you, baby.
Thank you.
And like I trust Platinum to bring fire combat, and like they showed some of that stuff right there. But you know, it's like I like games that make me cry.
Make them cry.
And then when you have the lineage of a Platinum game.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like Nier Automata. One of the best games of all time. One of the best games of all time.
Say it. Speak your truth.
I feel like crying now, but not because tears of joy or just this relief of seeing 2B and 9S finally being
Everyone,
friends
can we
again.
all just hold hands for Michael here? Come on, Damon, you as well?
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're here. We support you. We're with you. And don't worry, we'll still play Babylon's Fall with you.
You want to sing a DMCA safe Kumbaya?
I don't know if we want to do that. We want the stream to be here next year. Anyway, though, guys, Babylon's Fall was interesting, but I will say this much. I don't understand, Damon, the mixed reaction regarding Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
I thought it looked fantastic.
My reaction is not mixed. I'm with you. It might end up being my pleasant surprise of E3 this year.
Yeah.
I am a single-player gamer, so it's a single-player game. It's telling a story. You play as one character. I loved the creature design and the world design, and I thought most of the jokes were landing, so I was like, all right, this sounds great. But I understand the Guardians of the Galaxy are an ensemble cast. If people were sort of hoping they could pick a character to play as or even play cooperatively with other people, I get that part of it too.
Yeah, well, don't worry, folks. That is what downloadable content is for.
True.
But Dan, let's speak of things that weren't present at E3 because, or at least in this particular keynote, because, you know, obviously we're looking forward to a lot of good things that's going to be coming out. You know, obviously we saw a little bit of Final Fantasy 16. We saw a little bit of Forspoken. Maybe we'll get a bit of Triangle Strategy later on. But then there was this final thing with Strangers of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins. Obviously they don't like chaos.
Yes.
They're not a fan.
Chaos is no longer on the menu if they have anything to say about it. They are coming in hot. Like, if you were to drink every time they say the word chaos in that trailer, you would be dead before you reach the final boss. But it would be worth it because it looks awesome. You have that pedigree of Team Ninja, Koei Tecmo. It looks super fun. It was just like, it feels like this weird mixture of like a Souls-like with Final Fantasy, and that is something that's really exciting because we haven't seen that yet, and you're getting to this more sort of action RPG-esque combat that we've seen in recent Final Fantasy entries. I think they can have a lot of fun with this. And again, you know what? I've had enough chaos for quite some time. I'm beginning to see what they're talking about. I'd like to Omni/Chaos into a million little pieces myself.
Here's the thing. Sure, they don't like chaos, but they really like just tearing their enemies apart from like the face or the mouth, and they're just...
He really likes going for the mouth.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
You know, and just shoving some red stuff in there and then, you know, like...
I can't tell. Is it like when they stomp on them, the crystals appear, or are they putting the crystals
I don't know, but I'm going to play the
inside?
game and find out. I mean, we're seeing it right here in the footage.
Yeah,
it's quite aggressive.
He's trying to figure out the most efficient way to get the crystals, and usually it's just ripping it right open like a bag of chips.
Well, that's what I was
reaching
thinking.
inside.
You know, I had a DoorDash order yesterday. That you see that plug? That was, you know, just a little. That was a little. You know, the bag was closed. So what did I do? Stranger of Paradise.
Chaos reigns.
Chaos reigns, baby. But yeah, it looked really cool. Obviously, though, lots of other really cool stuff with Life is Strange: True Colors. I think that, you know, everyone loves that game. It's a pleasant experience for a lot. It's not my cup of tea per se. Like, I'm not that like a narrative player, but I always appreciate what games like that bring to the medium.
Oh yeah, I mean, Michael was talking about, I like games that make me cry. Like Life is Strange, the original game had me like on the floor going like, I'm never gonna trust a teacher again, or like all of my friends, I'm gonna hold all of my friends near and dear to me. And something that I was bragging to Dan about was during the game, there is a moment where you can attempt to save a friend from a situation. And I managed to do that, and apparently like no one else was able to do that. And so all of these interesting experiences, they hit home.
They hit hard.
So with the new one coming out, True Colors, where Alex Chen has like the psychic ability to feel other people's emotions, I feel like that's gonna open up like so many more different stories and like, even in-game mechanics, we heard that she can hear like bits and pieces of their thoughts and monologue.
Some reconstructed memories as well.
Exactly, all to try to figure out what happened to her dead brother. And it's like, oh, okay, where are we going now with this? And you could see, I love all the characters. The character design's so fun, and all the emotions that just
I got mad respect. I got mad respect for Life is Strange. Like Life is Strange 1 which is getting remastered. People get to re-experience that again, and also like Life is Strange 2. If you go back to that game it hit real hard. So shouts out to my girl Natalie Flores. That is one of her favorite games of all time. Got me to play it, and it went on to cover things like race relations and like really touchy subjects with varying degrees of like sensitivity, and it just really hits you in your feelings. And the fact that we're gonna have another full Life is Strange game, like. Folks should be playing this game because crying is great. Crying is dope.
Crying is good. That's actually very true. It's very true. We had a few other just small little details, obviously, with the Final Fantasy games, the Pixel Remastered. I'm personally looking forward to that. We had some mobile games as well. I love mobile gaming, so I'm going to be downloading all that good stuff. But one game that I definitely will be checking out because I think it's about time I give it a try. It's Life is Strange. And our friends over at PC Gamer actually caught up with Christopher Sika, the game designer from Deck 9 Games, for an in-depth conversation about the narrative-driven adventure game. Let's check it out.
So obviously in true colours, you've sort of gamified emotions to an extent where, it's actually brought forward into part of the gameplay. What have you done to ensure that the more subtle emotional impacts of the general story is still being retained?
So in order to do that, we have our town, Haven Springs, where our main character, Alex, is walking around, and she's able to interact with characters all over the town with a range of emotions from fear, sadness, joy, and anger. And the way we visualize this is through what we call emotional auras, which Alex can see around the characters. And then it also allows the player to do the psychic power of empathy to read the character's thoughts and emotions, which allows Alex to connect with them and have side storylines and more emotional connections with the characters.
So on that subject, actually, regarding the emotions and the connection Alex has with them, so in Before the Storm, sort of in contrast to the other two Life is Strange games, it's a much more grounded experience where you have the only vaguely supernatural element, obviously, was Chloe's visions of her father, but here you've really thrown yourselves into that Life is Strange element of more supernatural. So why did you decide that was the route to go?
Correct. Yeah, this one is a much more in the supernatural element. When we first started talking about using the power of empathy, we felt that it needed to have a supernatural element to really allow the player to connect with the characters and also give Alex this extra element to use her power of empathy. And the best way to show this was to embrace the supernatural. I feel like it really follows the Life is Strange staple of having a beautiful setting and also this supernatural element on top of it.
So one thing that all of the Life is Strange games, including this one, have in common, actually, is the primary players are all teenagers. Was that a conscious decision on your part?
It was, but I think Alex is defined by a lot more than just her age. She's really a well-rounded character, but we wanted to have a strong female lead, someone that players could really connect with and relate with. And with her power of empathy, she's just a great character to connect with, and I'm really excited for fans to see her. I think she's going to quickly become a fan favorite.
And then the element of choice in Life is Strange obviously is very important. What's your approach to this in true colours in terms of is the good choice always clear?
Well, actually, I think that's an interesting question because one of the things we strive for is not always, labeling what is good and what is bad. And I think, in Life is Strange, one of the things that fans really connect with is how dynamic the characters are. Characters have elements of good and bad, but we try to stray away from just a good character or an evil character. It's their choice and they can own it, not to be judged or feel like they made the evil choice or the bad choice.
Yeah. Going back to the issue of teenagers. So, I mean, was generally speaking, a lot, you could say that during your teenage years, you're more emotionally volatile. Is that something that you're reflecting in the game at all? Because I have noticed what you've revealed so far. There are, although it's primarily teenage characters, there are some older characters as well. Is that reflected in the way the emotions work at all?
Well, it's interesting because Alex had a very troubled childhood coming through the foster home. So even though she is a teenager, she's very mature for her age. She's been through a lot. So I think that, emotional volatile that you're talking about, we can actually see in characters of all ages. Even the adults she connects with, they're very volatile in their emotions. So we tried to have a more realistic approach that even though teenagers may be emotional volatile, even in our adulthood, we still feel those emotions and have a wide range.
I know you've previously spoken a little about how it's a more open game than anything else in the Life is Strange series so far. Any of these optional interactions, do any of those have any of those more impactful than the player might expect? Like an missable character or choice?
So the optional content we really wanted to keep as optional and missable. I think it will impact the user's experience as they might not be able to connect with these characters as much. But if you stay on the critical path and just do the primary interactions, you won't miss any of the key elements of the story. All of the open spaces like you're talking about are really just a way to explore the town, connect with the people, use the power more often. And it could, help as you go on so you know more about the characters, but you won't be punished for missing any of this content.
So one thing actually I've noticed with Life is Strange, with the Dontnod ones and also Before the Storm, which also sort of really captured, is it looks and sounds and feels like an indie movie. Like, is that intentional? And if it is, what does that mean for you? How do you capture that?
Absolutely. I think we really try to capture the indie feel because that's the roots of Life is Strange. So for this title, True Colors, we actually worked with a lot of indie artists. So the music's a big element of it. And as far as the visuals, we did a lot of research on, mountain towns. Being out here in Colorado, we had a lot of inspiration. And so we really just try to capture that visual, that cinematic style, and the music. It's a big pillar for what the game is.
And again, so referencing Before the Storm again, although obviously you were allowed a lot of creativity in that, you ultimately had to sort of draw within the lines in that Chloe's character was already established, the ultimate ending, we knew where it was going. But with True Colors, it's your first Life is Strange game with all of your own characters. You have complete control over the story. What were you able to take from Before the Storm to help you prepare for that?
Yeah, that's a great question. For us as Before the Storm, we did use the Chloe character, which was amazing. She was a big favorite of the studio, but at its core, Before the Storm is a love story. It's about relationships. And so with True Colors, we approached it as we wanted a story about empathy. We wanted a story about kindness and connection. So we really started with that as our core, and then we built these characters around it. But we really made sure that all the characters fit into the Life is Strange universe. Like I was saying earlier about dynamic characters, we wanted them to feel realistic, feel dynamic, and have players be able to have a connection with these characters.
And then talking about connection, obviously there's a direct connection between Before the Storm and True Colors in terms of Steph, who crosses over into True Colors. So first of all, I want to ask, of the characters that you had introduced yourself, why Steph? Why bring Steph to True Colors and rather than anybody else?
Yeah, well, I think, working on Before the Storm, I actually worked on that title as well. We all loved Steph. She was a great character. So we were all really excited as a studio to bring her back and to reveal her in Haven Springs. And then I think beyond that, just the connection that her and Alex start to form throughout the title. I'm really excited for fans to see more of Steph. I think there's an element of Steph we all know from Before the Storm, but we're going to learn more about her as a character and who she is and the experiences she's been through. So I just think she's a great fit for the story and just a character that we all love writing and working with.
So it sounds like she'll be a bit more of a forefront then in this one than she was in Before the Storm.
You'll see a decent amount of Steph throughout the game.
So would I be right to assume that True Colors will also have multiple endings?
It will have multiple endings, correct. Yep.
And will the endings depend on like a final choice as has traditionally been done in the series, or is there something a little further back from the end you can do that will send you down a different path? Like how far back do the roads to the ending diverge?
So yeah, what's really exciting about True Colors is it's actually an element of both of that. Your final choice will reflect the ending, but there's also an element of the relationships you build throughout the game, and how you'll see this in the dynamic ending. So I think it's really important as players are going through to, build these connections and make these choices. We didn't want a situation where you just get to the end and one decision dictates your experience.
The most recent footage that I've seen, it goes in a little bit more detail of what happens when Alex comes across particularly powerful aura. And then obviously there's a little bit of talk about it actually affects the environment. Are you able to go into a little bit more detail about what happens there and how the player explores this altered environment?
Absolutely. So we have different tiers of using the power. There's the one I explained earlier when you're walking around town and you're able to interact with characters, read their emotions, and see their thoughts. And that's what we're calling the frequent use power. As you're walking around, you're able to use it in our free roams and our gameplay. And we also have these major power moments where, like you were saying, there's a really powerful emotional aura. And the way Alex actually absorbs these characters' emotions, and she's able to go into this world that changes the environment and really gain more insight into what that character is going through. So she's able to explore the environment, she's able to look at objects, and all these objects relate to emotional connections that the character she's interacting with has gone through.
From your perspective, and again, now this is the game that you've got the most control over, what are you hoping that players will get out of it?
That's a great question. I think for me personally, I'm really excited for players to see this power of empathy that we're talking so much about. I think especially in these times, it's really important to be able to be kind to each other and understand what others are going through. We use empathy a lot, but what this game really allows is for players to connect with people, see their struggles, see what they're going through, and really understand that people are dynamic and we all have our troubles and we all have our triumphs. And I'm really excited for players to get to know Alex. She's, for me, the favorite character I've ever worked on. And so I'm really excited for players to see her. She's just such an inspiration. And then also to be able to use this power of empathy and hopefully, allow people to take a step back in their life and see others as well in a whole new light.
It should be the first Life is Strange game to be released as a complete package all at once, but it's still split into episodes. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. So there will be 5 chapters, as we're calling them right now, but they will all be released together.
Is there anything that you've done in True Colors that you weren't able or didn't have time to do in Before the Storm?
I think for us in True Colors, really embracing the supernatural element, like you mentioned, this was a big thing for us that we're able to now have a longer game, a longer experience, and add more of these power elements in, which I think the team is really excited about. Also, the locations that we built for True Colors, the environments are beautiful, and we were able to spend a lot more time just focusing on one town and one location that we could really make into this dynamic place that it feels like you're part of Haven as you're playing.
And speaking of the powers, what was the process to finally deciding that was what would be the center of the game, like empathy and emotions?
Yeah, so I think it was a core pillar of our initial story was having empathy. Like I was saying, we really wanted to tell the story about kindness and connection. And as we were exploring that, we realized we had to have more gameplay elements to the power than just to have this narrative moment that she could use. And that's what really influenced us, that we need to have these major power moments where you can look into insights and you can connect with the characters. And then from there, we decided it's really a great place to just be able to connect with the town as a whole. And that's where we started to enter gameplay into the town and these open spaces. So I'd say it was really an iterative process as we were writing the story. Us in game design working with narrative to really find a great way to make the power really sell and something that players will enjoy.
What is around that? What have you done to try and really flesh out and build this character that's going to be with the player from start to finish?
Yeah, well, I think with Alex, what makes her so strong is just her realism as a character. She's vulnerable, she's honest, she's genuine, she's strong, she's brave. She just has a lot of really good qualities that I think anyone can relate to. So we didn't take anything specific with Chloe or previous characters from Before the Storm. We wanted Alex to be a character that stands up on her own, someone who's who's real. And I think, our writers did a great job of writing her, and then Erica, the actress, did a great job performing as her, and that is now the character that we see and love in this game. It really was a team effort to make her as great as she is today.
One thing that's only just occurred to me is in each of the Life is Strange games, the main characters have parents that are either absent or antagonistic or a little bit of both. So it sounds like this is a trend that continues into True Colors. So again, was that a conscious decision? And either way, how do you think that feeds into the story?
It was, and we did a lot of research to make sure that we gave the foster care system justice. Obviously it's a complicated subject, so we just tried to tell, like most Life is Strange games do, something that's real but also tragic and unfortunate in some regards. As far as Alex's parents, it definitely influences who she became and who she is as a person. I don't want to say too much more than that because there's moments in the game where I would love for fans to just experience for themselves. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's probably about it for me. So again, thank you again so much for making time to talk to me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you once again to our friends over at PC Gamer for that one. And lots more to come here. But first, I want to mention that our friends over at DoorDash are doing something pretty cool. Make sure you tag them in a tweet. You follow them for your chance to win a $100 gift card. That's right, folks, $100. Now, so make sure you guys do that. Follow the prompts here, and you'll be a Gucci handbag. So we've had some pretty awesome moments already from this year's E3. It's been great, but I do want to take a second to, do some story time amongst us friends. Might I add, how cool is it that we get to sit here with IGN, GameSpot, both me and you, G4, Nerdist as well, to talk about, this is probably one of the highlights for me personally. But, I want to go down the line. Dan, what is an E3 memory from your first E3?
My first E3, well, I grew up reading like GamePro and EGM and always reading about E3 year after year. And being like, I would love to go to that someday. Finally, in 2012, I got the chance, and it was just like full body chills. It was such a really incredible moment for me. It was like one of my first jobs away from like waiting tables. It was like one of my first real moments where I was like, I'm working in the field of like entertainment journalism and covering pop culture and the stuff that I love. And I remember I got to sit in the closed door session to see Star Wars 1313, RIP, and just had my brain rent asunder by how awesome it looked. And basically that game looked like it was going to do for Star Wars what The Mandalorian ultimately did, just open up this whole world of scum and villainy. And it also taught me to embrace pain, because sometimes not all of your dreams can come true. In that case, it was sadly dashed upon the rocky shores of reality and development hell. But one day, hopefully, we'll go back to Coruscant to level 1313, check out that seedy underbelly. But for now, I'll always have that memory to hold on to.
A boy can dream. A boy can dream. Boys and girls can dream. Avali, what about for you?
Mine is probably a little bit more evil, so boys and girls, do not try this at home.
What did you do?
Well, I snuck into my first E3.
Oh, gosh, Avali.
So I was maybe 17, 18 years old, and I came as a media partner for my high school newspaper. Totally legitimate, wasn't in high school anymore at that point, but I will never forget them, for some reason, handing me the badge, putting the lanyard on, and then just walking into the convention hall and just looking up all around me at all of the different booths.
Yeah.
And like seeing like the big Nintendo booth, and then I think there was like Persona 4 Dancing All Night being displayed or something, right?
Yeah.
And then just having like Teddy going over here, like, you want to dance, little girl? And I'm like, okay. That was probably like my absolute favorite memory of just being in shock and awe that I was there, because we saw E3 on G4.
Right.
I found E3 from like, hey Ash, what you playing? They did like a vlog there, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm here. This is it.
Yeah. Well, we don't have a lot of time, but Michael, what about for you?
I grew up watching GameSpot, and I had a 2004 GameSpot DVD where they went around E3. I'm like, damn, it'd be nice to be there. 2017 was my first E3, and I did it for GameSpot, so I bust up in there. I'm like, yo, this is wild, whimsical. Like, I'm doing work, but it's wild to, like, collaborate with the Giant Bomb folks, because, like, we see them in the office, but, like, you go to the Giant Bomb couch, it's like, wow, this stuff is real. I'm really here. So I'll never forget 2017. It was a lot of work. You realize how much work is put in for, like, folks at GameSpot, IGN, so it's wild.
And Damon?
I'm gonna carbon date myself here. My first E3 with IGN was 2006.
Wow.
So I got to go to some of the behind closed door demos. And remember, 2006 PS3 and Wii weren't out yet. 360 was out, but I didn't have one yet. So I was playing PS2, GameCube, original Xbox games, and I got to go to the behind closed doors demos of Mass Effect and BioShock, and I was completely blown away. I was like, these feel like real next-gen experiences over everything I'm playing right now, and I was like, wow, this is a really exciting way to start my career at IGN.
Well, before we throw to our next segment, I did want to say my quick E3 story. I commentated a Major League Gaming show match for GameSpot where I flew in the last day of E3 because that was like all they could afford. Fly me in the last day of E3 at the last moment, at the last hour of E3. It was my first one, but I remember being on that airplane, going to LA and saying to myself, Mama, I made it. It was a great time. But we have so many great stories, not just from us, but also from all of our friends all around the industry and some of your favorite streamers as well as influencers all around had a bit to say about what was their favorite moments from E3.
I'm a criminal.
Well, I could tell you growing up, E3 was like the holy grail, right? Like that was, I mean, it was like E3, I'll never make it there. Wow, you went?
In 1999, that was my first E3. I got to see a cool midway like basketball cage. I remember that. I believe that was the E3 where they introduced the Dreamcast.
I was in awe at everything. I tried everything. I played Just Dance. You know, the Ubisoft booth was incredible.
They had me just in a roller coaster simulator, and I was bad at that somehow. I don't know what happened.
Probably similar to a lot of the other content creators on this show. We had to sneak in, man. We was little kids. Like, I was in high school.
Nintendo was handing out posters. They handed out like a Zelda poster or something, and I was like, yes! And I framed it immediately and put it up on the wall, and I was like, I got that at E3! Don't even act like I didn't get it at E3. There it is right there.
The time that I went to my first E3 in 2016, I think I called in sick that day. I was like, you know, you turn on your sick voice. Yeah, I just don't think I'm gonna be able to come in. I'm sorry. I don't work there anymore, so I can't get in trouble for it, so the story's out there now.
It was just so surreal to walk in and see something that I've been watching for so long, and it's there. It's in front of me, and I'm in it. The cosplays, I loved meeting new friends. I loved the panels. I loved walking on the showroom floor and just seeing all these new things. It was just unreal, and it really solidified a lot of feelings for me, knowing that I wanted to be in this industry.
I had all this swag on me from one of the halls where I had played a whole bunch of games. And then I get to the next hall because I wanted to go in there and see what it was. It was the one with Sony and Microsoft and also Nintendo. And the dude at the door stopped me and was like, hold on. Let me see your badge. And I was like, whoa. And I showed him the badge. And he said, what's your name? And I forgot the name on the badge.
What's up, everyone? I'm Brian Altano. In today's Fix, we get our first look at Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, Far Cry's most iconic villains are back and badder than ever, and Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hopes has been officially revealed by Ubisoft after Nintendo leaked it themselves yesterday. I'll get to that in a sec, but first, here's my friend Stella with some news about the upcoming Avatar game. Take it away, Stella!
Official, 2022 will be taking us back to James Cameron's epic science fiction world in Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Following a similar announce, then delay, then wait forever precedent set by the Avatar movie sequels, we first heard about this game 4 years ago. Based on what we saw in today's Ubisoft Forward presentation, it looks like this action-adventure game is set in a first-person open world, featuring the Western Frontier, a part of the planet not previously seen, home to the franchise's signature living, reactive alien biome. While the game stars new characters, it's clear from the trailer that it's still humanity and mechs versus the Na'vi and the wonders of nature, with a strong focus on air combat. Somewhere, Max Scoville is thrilled by this news. Developed by Ubisoft's massive entertainment studio, Frontiers of Pandora promises to utilize the Division Snowdrop engine to expand and deepen the Avatar universe in exciting and innovative ways along with the films. Massive reportedly worked in partnership with James Cameron's production company and Disney, which could mean a game very close to the world of Pandora that we know, and different from Massive's other titles, notably Tom Clancy's The Division, and an upcoming open-world Star Wars game. The game is being developed for next-gen consoles and PC, and yes, this is what we got instead of Beyond Good and Evil 2. At long last, my dream of delivering Far Cry 3's famous insanity speech myself is coming true. As previously leaked, Far Cry 6's upcoming DLCs will explore one of the Far Cry series' most enduring elements, the villains. The DLC Season Pass will let you play as Vas Montenegro from Far Cry 3, Pagan Min from Far Cry 4, and Joseph Seed from Far Cry 5. All three previous villains were shown along with surreal first-person gameplay seemingly set in worlds that exist within each big bad's terrifying mind. All three charismatic characters seem to be surprised by the fact that they're present, but happy nonetheless to be back causing havoc. And so are we. That's not all for Far Cry 6's Season Pass, it will also include Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon in some form. This much-loved 2013 standalone expansion for Far Cry 3 featured a retro-futuristic world and parodied many 1980s action genre elements. Ubisoft and Ari Shankar recently announced a Netflix animated series spin-off called Captain Laserhawk: A Blood Dragon Remix, so it's a somewhat surprisingly good time for Blood Dragon fans.
Thanks, Stella. I cannot wait for Far Cry. Speaking of colorful games full of terrifying villains and nightmare animals, the Rabbids are back, and they're teaming up with the iconic Italian plumber Super Mario once more in Mario & Rabbids Sparks of Hope, officially coming to Nintendo Switch in 2022. We actually got an early look at the game yesterday ahead of Ubisoft's conference when Nintendo themselves leaked the game on their official website. How dare you, Nintendo? It wouldn't be a Mario & Rabbids game without a leak happening. That's part of the tradition at this point. Either way, the first game was surprisingly awesome and also a sales hit, so here's hoping the next one is even better, even if Rabbid Rosalina is one of the scariest things I've ever seen in my entire adult life. Anyway, with E3 now in full swing, what are you looking forward to most? Are there any games you're hoping to see on stage? Let us know in the comments below. I'm Brian Altano, and that was your Daily Fix. Now that you're all caught up in the news, make sure to check out the rest of our E3 coverage on YouTube, across social media, or even on your smart TV. Download the IGN app on all your mobile devices, and subscribe to the IGN Daily Fix on Snapchat for all things, everything else, video games, E3, and scary-ass rabbids. IGN.com. Thanks for watching.
篝火营地是中国领先的游戏媒体，创立于2018年，致力于为全世界的中文游戏玩家提供专业、精准、迅速的资讯情报。篝火营地立足于中国，与多家国际一流游戏媒体同行达成正式内容合作关系，源源不断地将最新鲜的游戏资讯第一时间带给全球中文游戏玩家。自成立以来，篝火营地在全网的内容浏览量已经超过5亿，服务了数百万的读者和玩家。我们的愿景是做游戏文化传播者。您可以在全球各大手机应用市场下载篝火营地 APP， 或者访问3w.gamebonfire.com 来加入游戏传播者的行列。
As a part of Play for All, GameSpot will be bringing you the latest gaming news and announcements, interviews with developers, the biggest press conferences, and lots more. Play for All is our yearly online event that combines the excitement and announcements of E3 with charity live streams the following week with lots of special guests who are going to help us raise money for able gamers. So join us in June for E3 and Play for All on GameSpot.com, YouTube.com/GameSpot, Twitch.tv/GameSpot, and as a part of the E3's official broadcast. See you then.
And a big thank you to our sponsors at DoorDash. Get more from your neighborhood, from restaurants and convenience to grocery and corner stores. All right. We got a lot to talk about, sir.
We do.
Back for Blood. I love
Can't
we
wait.
said that together.
We have to. I mean,
Yes.
Back for Blood's all about cooperation, getting out there, be the cleaners, take on the ridden.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to Damon, and I was like, "Oh, you used to kick Greg's butt
I
in
saw.
Left 4 Dead," and
Yeah.
he was like, "No, we played together." And I was
That's what
like,
we do. We're a team, right? That was the Game Scoop squad, ladies and gentlemen. We weren't tearing each other apart. We were tearing up them zombies in Left 4 Dead,
Yeah.
which is why I'm so stoked to see Turtle Rock return to this and come out and do Back for Blood. And so, yeah, we're on the precipice of this presentation. What's interesting, if you're not over on Twitter keeping up with there, they just put up a post that I think is interesting, explaining more of their online content and keeping the squad together, as they said. They're going to do it that if the party leader has content for PvE, which means, that, of course, if they've bought something, it'll be available to the entire party. So if you want to do an expansion, not everybody has to own it, just party leader does. And then for PvP, the question was, how do you keep it from being pay to win? They're doing a thing where all the PvP additional content you can get for free by progression. So you could pick it up by, cosmetics, unlock it right away, but if you want to, you can earn it for free in the game too, which is a great look.
You know what's been really interesting to me about Back for Blood is that, with some games we see them trickling just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Black Panther, that was kind of happening.
way
Sorry,
too
I know
soon.
that
That's way
stings.
too
I
soon,
apologize. But Back for Blood is the exact opposite. They're like, yo, we want you to know exactly what this game is about. We have gotten very long descriptions about all the cleaners.
Yep.
We've gotten a very inside look at the Ridden as well. And I have absolutely loved everything that I've seen.
Yeah.
The cleaners are extremely varied in abilities, but I'm gonna be quiet because
It's almost time.
It's time.
That's the thing. Everything I've seen has been a PvE thing, which is why I like it. So let's talk about PvP. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, the Back for Blood showcase.
There was a little while ago when WB Games had reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of the reveal of Back for Blood. And I knew what it was, and I was so excited about what this game is. And it's the reason why that I'm so stoked for everyone at home to enjoy this. So coming up next, WB Games is throwing you smack in the middle of the action with their gore fest shooter, Back for Blood. So grab your weapon of choice, because here is WB Games, Back for Blood.
Thanks, Golden Boy. Hello and welcome to the Back for Blood PvP Showcase. If you don't already know, Back for Blood is an upcoming 4-player co-op zombie shooter made by the creators of Left 4 Dead. Today we're diving deeper into the new PvP mode called Swarm, how it works, and what you'll be doing. Maybe even a little bit of strategy. We'll also talk with Turtle Rock's lead game designer on Back for Blood, Brandon Yanez, to help piece it all together. Before we get there though, let's start off with the reveal of a brand new PvP trailer and see what it's like in action.
That's one down.
That looked intense. So there you have it, guys. Back 4 Blood's PvP mode, Swarm. To hear more about it and to take a deep dive into the gameplay and the mechanics, we have Turtle Rock's lead game designer on Back 4 Blood, Brandon Yanez. Brandon, can you tell us a little bit about the inspiration of this new PvP mode and what makes it fun and unique?
Of course, so just like our previous titles, we really enjoy bringing new ideas to the table while retaining the spirit of the genre that we're working in. So Back 4 Blood's PvP is heavily inspired by our previous titles that mix survival, fast action, massive monsters, and a touch of horror. So our goal is to make a balanced and fun PvP mode with just as much replayability as the main campaign.
So what's the structure of the PvP like? Do you play in rounds? Can you play as both cleaners and ridden in one match, or are we swapping between the two?
Yeah, so it's played as a best of 3 match. Teams of 4 take turns swapping between the ridden and cleaner players. The job of the cleaners is to scavenge supplies, find a good place on the map to fortify their position, and try to last as long as they can. Okay. The ridden's main objective is to kill the cleaners as fast as they can. So this is achieved by choosing the right ridden to counter the other team's strategy, using mutation upgrades, and by coordinating attacks with other AIs and players. As the round progresses, the swarm moves in, so this increases the size of the ridden attacks and shrinks the playable space, sometimes forcing the cleaners out of their favorable positions, right? So when a cleaner team is wiped from the field, the points are scored for how long they survive. Then both teams swap, and then they go at it from the other side. The team that runs the clock the longest as the cleaners is the winner.
Now, I understand you can play as all the different cleaners in both co-op and PvP. Do you have a favorite character that you play as?
So I have a couple. I play Mom a lot. She's a badass with a sawed-off shotgun. She adds a lot of survivability to the team. She can also instantly help teammates that have fallen during battle. All of our cleaners have special perks, so that one is hers.
Let's jump into another trailer that goes a little more in depth on the ridden's progression through PvP. Check it out.
Discharge! Ah, shit! Damn it!
Okay, so Brandon, we just saw that each different ridden has their own variants as well as their own mutations on each variant. So can you expand a little more on these special abilities and how they work?
Sure, so at the start of each round, players can choose between 9 playable ridden, each with their own unique abilities. So for example, the Stalker can pounce a player and pull them away from their team, or an Exploder can time their detonation in the middle of a group of cleaners and fling them all in separate directions.
Now, knowing that each ridden has these different abilities, how do they change and improve throughout a match and improve the ridden's chance of winning?
So as the ridden battle against the cleaners, they gain points. They can spend these points on team-wide upgrades called mutations. Mutations upgrade and improve a lot of different things on the ridden side, from adding effects to their abilities. They might buff the common AI waves in size and strength. So the really cool thing is so they affect the whole team, and they persist between rounds. So as a ridden team starts to coordinate their upgrades, things can get pretty wild.
What are some strategies that the ridden team can take on in order to get a leg up on the competition?
If the cleaners are really sticking together, you can swap to the Wretch and vomit on their location. That's going to cause them to spread out, right? This is going to open up a whole bunch of opportunities for your other ridden players to attack, right? So if you get them to spread out and there's a Stalker nearby, Stalker will use the Chaos to grab one of the cleaners and drag them off into the swarm. The Wretch's vomit also slows their victims, so if a tall boy who's naturally pretty slow can attack one of those slowed characters, they're going to really be able to pummel them. Another good one is if an exploder waits for a cleaner to go revive their friend, they can use that as an opportunity to charge in and detonate on them, sending them flying and doing a massive amount of damage.
Ooh, sounds pretty brutal. So with that being said, which is your favorite Ridden to play as?
That has to be the tall boy. It's pretty easy to pick up and play, and I have a lot of fun hitting cleaners across the map.
Speaking of fun, let's talk about weapons. Now, throughout the trailers, you can see a number of different weapons. Can you go a little deeper into what those weapons are and how they work?
So we really wanted to expand on the amount of choices the player had in Back 4 Blood with their weapon. So of course there's handguns, shotguns, LMGs, SMGs, sniper rifles, and a whole bunch of other types of weapons, each with sort of like a unique character feel to them.
Now, how deep does this weapon customization go? I really want to know. What are some of the different attachments and options, and how do they change the gameplay overall?
Absolutely. So there's a lot of different customization options for your weapons. So throughout the world, you can find scopes, silencers, stocks, sights, all that good stuff. You can mix and match them, so there's a ton of options.
Last question. Do you have a favorite type of weapon?
Absolutely. So as I said earlier, I really enjoy playing Mom, so her shotgun is definitely at the top of my list.
Ah, that's a solid choice. All right, we've learned a little bit about how it all works, the cleaners, the Ridden, the mutations, as well as how the customization works for the weapons. Thank you so much for joining me, Brandon, and for giving us a little bit more detail on Back 4 Blood's new PvP mode, Swarm.
Thanks for having me. I can't wait for everyone to get their hands on this game. We're all really excited.
I can't wait either. The good news is that you guys won't have to wait too long. There's an open beta coming up on August 12th with an early access portion on August 5th available to those who pre-order. That's all for today, but Back 4 Blood still has a lot more to reveal in the coming months, so stay tuned. Bye.
And there you got it, folks. Back 4 Blood. It looks awesome. PvP mode, that was actually a pleasant surprise for me. When I played the game, you know, and when the alpha was out, I think it was the alpha is what they termed it as. It was, you know, a single player, cooperative, right? That kind of experience, Dan. But, you know, I love me some good old fashioned unorthodox PvP types of games. I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I played an irresponsible amount of the versus mode in Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, in which you get to be both the monsters and the player characters. And Swarm mode that's exactly what I wanted from this game. And I like the wrinkle where you're going to die no matter what, like you're actually in a horror movie. At least that's what I would do in a horror movie. I would just perish immediately. But here, you have to try and rack up as big of a time as possible and challenge the other team to beat it. I think that's a cool conceit. And like really, it makes it feel distinct from the campaign mode like you might see in the previous game. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and Avali, you and I, we both come from an esports background. You know, I see something like that, it looks different, and we know Turtle Rock's history, having tried different games and different unorthodox multiplayer games in the past, but I think that there's some potential there for some fun competition.
I think that, I don't know if I see it as like a full esport, but like a Twitch Rivals or something, or like some fun competitions, like we get a couple G4 hosts together.
Shameless plug.
We start playing, shameless plug. I got you, Jerry. Shameless plug, and then we all play together, we're the zombies, we're the good guys, and then we do it in real life.
No, I wouldn't want to do that in real life, especially not after the week we had. Damon, though, I know you're a single-player guy, but I know you also played a decent amount of Left 4 Dead. So because of this Back 4 Blood, what I like about it is, yes, it is, you know, PvP, but it still pulls back to the single-player experience very well. And I think for that reason, it should appeal to folks who maybe don't really want to dive into PvP, but enjoy, you know, the gameplay mechanics.
I think there's actually a character or a class just for people like me in the PvP, and that's the Exploder.
Yes.
I'm going to die a lot, but if I can take out a few enemies with me, I don't mind dying so much.
Yeah, exactly. It's all right to just run up there, blow yourself up a few times. You know what, man, Michael? It looks like it's going to be a good time. Do you feel like this is something that you can pick up and play repeated sessions of. Like,
yeah, I miss having that game where I could just like play with my friends back home and just be really loud and ignorant over comms. Like Left 4 Dead is 1,000% that game for us. We could just wild out on Discord or whatever. But it's really exciting in the sense that, you know, when you think about it, Left 4 Dead was a source mod. And so, like, Turtle Rock obviously made their bread off that, but the production values of Back 4 Blood, you know, this is their opportunity to kind of bring back that magic of Left 4 Dead, but like do it on a much bigger scale. And like that presentation that we saw, it's like, yo, we're going all in on this mode with all these classes, these different characters. Yo, it's going to be wild and all sorts of stuff. So it's really promising because that format, that foundation is strong enough already. That can carry a new game, but if you put on like a lot of mechanics on top of that, sold.
And funny enough, we did not mention that Back 4 Blood was also on the Xbox press briefing as well. So you actually saw a few of the different elements that are going to be coming to this game. Something that I love, Avali, giant monsters. Giant monsters is always a plus.
Oh, giant monsters are freaking amazing. You saw, I think they said like 9 playable ridden that you can be fighting. The huge monster that we ended up seeing, which was like the size of a building, just came in. So I'm trying to figure out like, okay, cool. So we're co-oping this. We're getting in there. We're taking him down together. But then also very excited for the PvP moments because I just can't wait to just throw up on friends. Can't do it in real life, so may as well do it in the game.
That's what's up.
Are you sure you can't do it in real life?
Well, you have a mask on, so it's just going to be like...
We're trying to be COVID safe, GB. Thank you very much.
Totally.
But no, I mean, it just seems like such a fun game. The last time I played Left 4 Dead 2 was quite honestly in middle school, and all my friends were older at me and just yelling at me. And so I'm like, okay, cool. I now see some of the mechanics that Michael was mentioning, being able to kind of like throw up on people and move them out of their hiding spots or trying to like separate people from the rest of the squad. I can't wait to like, with my newly formed adult brain, try to implement some of these.
Well, you know, if there's one thing a game like Back 4 Blood is good for, it's good for yelling at friends and having a good time. And one friend who I love yelling at, it's Greg Miller, who's over with Jackie. Greg, take it away.
Thank you, Golden Boy. Always a pleasure to yell at you. Avi's newly formed adult brain.
She's so sweet.
At what point does it form? At what year does the adult... you know what? We won't. Let's keep talking a little bit about Back 4 Blood.
I was going to say, all of ours is still forming,
Exactly right. I'm doing more,
we still got a long way.
I'm hurting mine more than I'm helping at this point, I think. What did you think? PvP, Back 4 Blood.
Oh my goodness. I absolutely love everything I've seen with Back 4 Blood. Since the first trailer, to be completely honest, and then I've just been like tracking every single YouTube video that I can get my hands on. And actually the co-founder, Phil Robb, it was like in some YouTube video and he was like, you know, we've had to sit back the last 10 years and watch other people riff on something we created. And I feel like he's like, y'all, I'm bringing it 100%. We're gonna give you cleaners with depth. We're gonna give you ridden with depth.
Of course.
You know, we just heard Avali and we heard Golden Boy talking about the potential for esports here. You know, I was talking to you, I said, wow, do you think there could be the potential for that? So a lot of people thinking that as well. I think they're bringing their A game and I have loved everything I have seen.
I adored Left 4 Dead, but I only played it co-op. I've never been the PvP person.
You're a lover, not a fighter.
Well, it's interesting to get to this point now, you know, in 2021 and talk about this and look for what we just saw from this presentation, because I can see me and my friends playing that. I can see Kinda Funny doing streams of that. And I think this round, you know, best of 3, switch sides, go through who can clear it the fastest in the time, it gets really interesting really quickly. When you have somebody, and